Hi, this is Naroki5. I am going to be doing this until I die or I find something better to do. So please help me achieve this personal and, I think, noble objective by contributing to my Patreon or Subscribe Star. Link is down below. Every little bit helps. Thank you very much. And there we go. Hello, everybody. This is Naroki5, and you are listening to the Red Pill Nation Hangout. Yes, we're officially halfway through the 300s. We're at 350. We're halfway to 400. Phenomenal, isn't it, Rearson? With me tonight, I am your host and reasonably sane commentator. Just remember the standards of the Red Pill Nation, which is no standards at all.
Wanted to make sure we're maintaining that. Okay, that's good. That's good.
We're gonna fight to maintain that standard. We're gonna go down swinging to maintain that standard. But of course, with me, as always, is my partner in crime and the guy who secretly is secretly the villain in the new Aquaman movie, Rearson.
Hey. My name is not Amber Heard. Just saying.
Saw that movie tonight, by the way. Well, I'll tell you about it when we get actually into the topics, because Aquaman is topic number one.
Okay, all right. Honestly, I really don't have much to say at this point. Bought a bottle of wine today. Just Canadian brand is called Screw It, and that's exactly how I'm feeling today. Although it is a Shiraz, one of my preferred red, and I apologize in advance for anything I might say that will offend anybody. Well, that'd be a first, actually. Never mind. And on that note, V, what you got?
Yeah, well, you guys know me, host of the Red Pill Hardcore Radio Show. I am currently the face of TLBTalk.com, Freedom of Speech Social Network. Don't worry, trust me, I'm trying to find someone more popular than myself to be the face. Yeah, so go and make a profile and join up.
Yep, that's it. For those of you who don't know, I am at Patreon as Naroki5. I am Subscribestar as the Red Pill Nation, assuming Subscribestar actually validates my goddamn account, which they haven't done. I'm actually at YouTube, but I just use it for ease of uploading everywhere else. MGTOW TV, Rumble, Odyssey, BitChute. Hopefully we'll get on either banned or censored.tv at some point. But again, I seem to be having some difficulty validating my accounts there. I am also at Facebook, Minds, MeWe, Gab, Getter, and TLB Talks. As of right now, I didn't put this down as a resolution, and I remember I was talking about this at the start of last year, but at some point I'm going to actually get onto Spotify and SoundCloud and iTunes and all those other places, and I'm going to actually make this available there. That didn't happen this year. For those of you who don't know, I'd like to thank our commercial sponsors, Orange Man Bad Handball, for those people who quite likely right now are feeling kind of embarrassed about themselves for the fact that Trump is not actually on the Epstein list, which we'll be covering for 351, by the way, or we may even do our own special episode on the Epstein list, given the blowback on that.
I think between that and maybe the Star Wars faux pas.
Oh, Star Wars is on 351. I can absolutely guarantee you Star Wars is on 351.
If it wasn't, we'd have to talk. Anyway.
Yeah, that will. All I'm going to say is that I can see the movie tanking, even from here. I mean, no, I'm gonna save it. I'm gonna save it for Sunday.
Yep.
I'm gonna save it for Sunday.
No problem.
You know,
Oh.
no, I'm gonna save it for Sunday. Aquaman will be getting my ire tonight. I did see Aquaman. The topics are as follows. Number one, Aquaman tanking at the box office. I haven't seen numbers, but it's not epically tanking, but it is tanking. Two, cell phone providers trying to fine you for your texts. Three, Google laying off 30,000 staff after laying off 12,000 earlier. How ironic it is that I found out about this particular layoff the same day I found that when we did 349, where we did our predictions of of what was going to happen in the new year. Topic number four. This one's going to be funny. Trend of fat influencers dying before age 40 spotted. Oh my God! No, Tess Holiday is not among them. Although
didn't she pass away or no?
No, Tess did not die.
Yet.
No. Her blood type is pudding, but she hasn't passed away yet. No wonder Captain Ahab had to go out and get himself another job. I mean, he can't hang out in front of Victoria's Secret and harpoon the land whales going out there. The ones that and the one and all the other. You're breaking up there, bud. Yeah, and all of that.
Your wife right there.
Yep. And all of the fat influencers are all dying before he gets a chance to harpoon them. Poor old Captain Ahab. Topics number 5 and 6 are actually strangely tied together because it was the same person who spotted both of them. Topic number 5, Delta Airlines exposed for trafficking illegals.
Oh, that's what that is. Okay.
Yeah. And topic number 6, Ashley St Clair gets roasted for inane attack on the Manosphere.
Cunt.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
But I'll tell you how I really feel. Oh my God. Okay.
And the last topic, and this one should also probably come as no surprise to anyone.
Okay.
The James O'Keefe has openly admitted that he's getting absolutely swamped with corporate leaks at O'Keefe Media Group.
Wow.
Like he literally does not have enough money to report all the potential leaks he's getting. Like that's not good. But anyway, let's start out with the first topic of the show. Aquaman, a movie, by the way, that I did go and actually see tonight. I got out of the movie theater probably less than what is going on here? Oh, there we go. I got out of the theater a little over an hour ago. I did go and see it. Considering that it's been in theaters for about 3 weeks, it was still robustly attended. It's very, very clear that they reduced Amber Heard's presence in the movie. They didn't cut her out completely. They left her in the scenes where she was but she's only in the scenes where it's absolutely necessary for her to be in. But she's not gone from the movie completely. Translation: Warner Brothers recognized the fact that Amber Heard was guilty, but they didn't want to admit they were guilty. And there was just too much stuff of her shot. And there's the whole story of Aquaman actually and this is part of the reason I think why, now that I've seen Aquaman, why they had to keep Amber Heard in it. The story to a great degree, especially the third act, required that Amber Heard get some scenes. They could not do the movie properly without Heard, aka Mira, in it. in order to do the movie completely, they would have had to have there would have had to be some super extensive reshoots, which means that they would be losing money hand over fist, even more so than they're doing right now.
So they're being smart about this rather than Disney realizing that they've got a shit show.
Well, it's
after...
not Disney, it's Warner Brothers.
No.
Company.
But no, I realize that. But what I'm saying is that Disney goes all in with their wokesters, get the whole thing shot, and then shows a test run or whatever, and then the feedback is kind of going, no, this is shitty. I mean, was it Falcon? The Falcon movie has to basically be completely overhauled. So that ain't going to be making any money. And that's... So Warner Brothers was smart in that sense that they realized, okay, cut her out as much as possible, but what has to be there rather than revamping the whole damn thing.
Yeah,
smart on their part.
There was having seen the story, they could not completely cut Amber Heard out, and I totally get that. I get you. I also am definitely thinking that although I doubt that there will be an Aquaman 3, given the trend for superhero movies and how badly they're all doing. The other thing that I noticed about this Aquaman movie is that there was a lot of globalist messaging in it.
More of the message?
More of the message. It wasn't a hard sell, but it was written into the plot, including, by the way, eat the bugs.
What's the bugs?
Okay, there's a scene in the movie where Aquaman is... basically he fought his brother in the first one, then he had to go free his brother in the second one, because the bad guy in the movie, the Black Manta, has discovered this energy source which, if they use it, causes runaway global warming. The stuff that you kind of expect out of Hollywood at this point. But there's a scene in the movie where Aquaman he frees his brother, and they go to this island in the Pacific where Black Manta has set stuff up. Oh, by the way, there's definitely the usual checking off the boxes with the racial profiling and everything. I have to point that out. But that really wasn't the most noticeable thing about the movie. There's a scene in the movie where Aquaman says, "Oh, well, man, you just haven't been up to the surface to enjoy real human food." And then it says, and then he picks up this bug and he goes, "This is a cockroach. The surface people love these." So he makes his brother eat he doesn't make his brother, but his brother eats the cockroach, and the brother actually likes it. And at the end of the movie, there's a scene in the movie where his brother's having a hamburger and he sees a cockroach and he grabs it, puts it in his burger, and starts to eat it. Now, on the surface, that seems like a funny scene, right? However, given what global marketing is like, I'm looking at that scene in the movie and I'm going, yeah, there might be some. I can't just sort of just dismiss that as maybe not some type of hidden messaging, and the movie was, okay. If it wasn't, it's not as good as the first Aquaman movie. The sequels never usually are better than the first movie. The whole thing. The movie was, if it had been, say, 2019 when they released this, it probably would have done okay. It's a solid 6 out of 10, maybe a little bit too much. Oh, by the way, people probably have commented on it. It gets a little bit, it pushes the message. It doesn't do it right to your face, but it pushes enough social justice messaging that if you know what to look for, you'll see it, right? The whole thing just, it wasn't, the movie itself was not terrible. Again, right, they're going a little bit too much for the effects. I'm given we're going to be covered, just giving you a heads up, 351, there's going to be a lot of Hollywood content on there. I'm going to give you a little bit of a preview taste. Revenues for Hollywood are down $8 billion from 2019. Expected revenue, although they might actually bounce up in terms of actual attendees per film. They're actually expecting the actual revenue numbers to go down again this year. That's the projection, and that's the way the theaters have been doing it. This movie, again, had it been 3-4 years ago, probably would have been maybe break even. It's not. Will I buy the DVD? Yeah. Am I going to be touting this movie as a classic? Yeah. If they do a third Aquaman, is Amber Heard going to be there? Absolutely freaking not. But in my opinion, it was kind of like your cut and paste superhero movie. It was kind of meh, right? It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't particularly outstanding or good either. The big issue was, and this is because I'm so familiar with the issue. I'm seeing this in a lot of Hollywood movies now that I know what to look for. I saw a lot of social justice messaging in there, like more than what was necessary. Although, to the credit of the director and the writers, it was a soft sell. It wasn't in your face. The thing that really kind of bugged me in the end was the whole subtle eat the bugs message that came right at that little
The bugs were bugging you. I gotcha.
Well, there's a little 1 minute trailer right at the end of the movie, right at the end of the credits, where they kind of push that. And with it, I'm going to turn it over to V.
Yeah, well, bugs got a lot of protein in them, you know? There's more protein than ants.
You will eat the bugs and you will like it. That is it.
There's more protein in ants than there is beef per pound.
Yeah, I'm not eating the bugs.
I learned that when I was in the army for survival situations.
Okay, well, if it's in the army, I mean, I totally get that. Maybe you have to eat bugs and snails because that's kind of like that's what people do in the army. I'm going to pass on that as just a regular diet, though. It just saying. Continue.
Where's Henrik when you need him? Anyway.
Well, I haven't seen Aquaman. You know, it's funny because earlier I was sitting in the living room with folks, and they were watching the new Little Mermaid. I was like, oh my gosh, you guys are watching this? Aren't you upset that she's black? And everybody looked at me like, no. I was like, oh, okay. But I found out that what's her name? Melissa McCarthy was in the movie. Hey, if I'd known she was in the movie, I would have gone to the movie theater to see it. Love that one. But anyways, yeah, well, the messages. I don't know. I guess at this point, you're just gonna have to put a filter in your brain. Just enjoy the parts of the movie that you like and filter out the rest. I don't know. I'm usually just focused on the action, anyways. If I'm going to go see a deep movie like Schindler's List or something, I'm gonna focus on the message. I'm going to analyze. I'm going to, take to heart. The video see something like Aquaman. First off, it's Aquaman. If you're gonna try to make Aquaman cool, not to totally trash Aquaman. Just in this resurgence of rebranding of Aquaman. I like to watch those death battles on YouTube, where we'll put one fictional character from one fictional universe versus another fictional character from some other universe. And they put Namor versus Aquaman. And they had Aquaman win, which is total crap. Namor, who came first, uh, it was just garbage, man. Namor actually has strength comparable to the Hulk, can fly, and then do all the other stuff that Aquaman can do. Aquaman does have enhanced strength, but he's not, he's not tearing down buildings, skyscrapers with his bare hands. He's just not. So I'd rather see a movie about Namor, because he was an anti-hero. He's got some balls. He'll do some stuff. He's not Captain Cornbread like Aquaman. Unless they totally revamped his personality too. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just I avoiding. I mean, if it's on, I'll watch it. If it happens to be on in the living room, I've got nothing to do. But it's not something I'm just going to go uproot myself and see. So, yeah, that I'll pass it on to Pearson.
Well, this is normally Naroki's area of expertise. I have no desire to watch Aquaman. Amber Heard aside, I can't stand Jason Momoa. This will be coming up. Having seen a couple of, what did I see? Him and his two kids, and he put his hand in a triangle configuration, and I can't say with any certainty about what I saw. I'm assuming it was his kid with the swimming trunks on, but it was either some sort of a triangle or it might have been a pedo symbol. I don't know. And there's also footage of him putting his hand on a very, very early teenager, where her tits are going to be at some point, and she brushes his hand away. So, sorry, but to me, this is really on the same level of watching anything with Kevin Spacey in it as is Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, by the way, there was an Aqualad as well. You didn't see Namor with Namor Lad. Okay. Go ahead.
Sit on the peg, boy. Sit on the peg. Why, Captain Hangrider? Oh, God. Oh, anyway, it's... I'm waiting for that. I'm waiting for his name to be dragged through the mud, as it probably should be. That's all I'm going to say. Not going to see the movie. Not interested. I have less than a shit to give for it. So, if it wasn't bad, it wasn't bad. I guess it's... okay. Well, here's something to put towards. Maybe it's a case of DC-itis. Blue Beetle was a decent movie. If it was released sooner, it would have made a lot more money. Same thing as what Naruki is saying about Aquaman. DC's timing, Warner Brothers' timing is just, it's off. It's really off. So, but again, I will say that the executives made the right decision ultimately by trimming the fat around Hera or Mira, just to keep her there, just because it was just easier and cheaper than to do the whole damn thing all over again. Naruki, how much do you think it's going to lose?
Oh God, I would have to go into IMDb and actually look at this point, or Box Office Mojo. Let me keep talking for a bit, and I will take a look at this point.
Okay, well, we could segue back into it as well too. I mean, again, with the superhero movies, it was over with end game, and that's ideally that's when the whole genre should have just stopped. Now, granted, they're not going to do that because they think that they can, produce something that's going to be somewhat decent. I get it, but how many times do you have to go to the well and keep realizing that, hey, I'm getting less water each time I come over here, until there's really nothing left except what's in the mud. So, and again, Amber Turd, Johnny Depp, as Naruki has said, he's no angel, but what happened to him should never have happened to him, or any man for that matter. So, look at that. I'm going to refill. And on that note, I don't think I have much more to say. How is it looking for your search there, my friend?
I'm looking at the trying to find a budget number. Oh yeah.
200 million was the
205 million.
Okay, so they're
and they are currently sitting at, as of week 2, 263. Keep in mind that the numbers are going to continuously go down at this point. So, although to be fair, they didn't drop a full 60% like they did, so it's got a little bit of staying power. But
so they might walk away with, say, 270 million.
No, they're gonna have to clear absolute rock bottom minimum. They have to clear probably just over 500, and they are probably going to scrape. They're gonna lose a lot. They're gonna lose 200 million, but they're not gonna tank like some other movies that have tanked this year. It's still gonna be it's still gonna tank really badly though.
They've cleared the production cost.
Yeah, they have cleared they are going to clear their production cost. That much is obvious, but a lot. Are they going to make any money? Are they going to break even? No. Are they going to Are they gonna make a profit? Is there gonna be enough interest there? Well, again, I think Amber Heard probably cost them. Well,
That's
Amber Heard probably cost them. I'm going to guess upwards of. Amber Heard was probably the difference between them tanking epically and tanking just they would have lost money.
Mm-hmm.
But they wouldn't have lost money
as much.
They would not have lost as much.
Oh, fuck. Well, that's what you get.
No. But I mean, based upon what I saw of the movie, they had to keep Amber Heard in it. There's just too much, especially Act 3. There's just way, way too much of Act 3 that requires Amber Heard be in it for them to cut her out, not without an extensive reshoot. So if they had done an extensive reshoot, it would have been. They would have lost money anyway. But I mean, it's like, they were in a bad situation. Amber Heard put them in a bad situation, but it wasn't necessarily the result of the fault of the MCU. Warner Brothers was clearly given that there was a vote on the board, and the two people in the reason why the two people who voted not to cut her were the CEO and I think it was the director of operations. And the CEO basically has full veto power over the situation. So I mean, it didn't happen. And by the way, that guy has been removed. The individual who made that decision, he's gone from Warner Brothers.
The CEO or the other guy?
The CEO.
Oh.
The two people that voted to keep Amber Heard in the movie are both gone. Unfortunately, the damage is done. And I mean, kudos to, I'm going to keep in mind, the guy who runs is the same, is a bit of a fucking creep himself, James Gunn.
Oh, as I said.
You know, um, now you're starting to understand why why Ezra Miller from The Flash didn't get booted.
Someone has a vested interest in it.
Yeah, so now you understand why the guy from why Ezra Miller from The Flash didn't get voted. But I mean, again, they did this to themselves. They had the opportunity, but again, right. And here's the ironic part: they may have fixed that trial over in London, only to basically Amber. If that trial over in London, the libel trial, was fixed in some way, it was temporary gain, short-term gain for long-term pain for Amber Heard, right? Because she got the trial in London, but when it came over to they couldn't bring that evidence over to here because it wasn't applicable, and everybody jumped on board, even though for most of the studios it had been explained to him, no, this is not versus Amber Heard, this is versus the Sun newspaper. It is a libel lawsuit. It's not a lawsuit against Amber Heard, but they went ahead and did it anyway. Right? What can I say? Right?
Stupid is as stupid does.
Well, and trust me, when we do the 351, one of the issues we'll be talking about is how badly Hollywood tanked this year. And again, they're expecting to not make as much revenue next year as they did as they did in 2023, which is why you're going to see far fewer movies coming out. But I mean, yeah, it's not. I still think it's going to be a bit of a dead cat bounce in terms of, fewer movies, but better revenue per movie.
Okay, that makes sense.
And not nearly as much wokeism, except for Star Wars, which we all know is just...
Crank out the J. Jonah Jameson laugh. Oh my God.
Oh my God. All I'm going to say is, with all these sequels going down, I mean, if they handle Warhammer 40K properly, I mean, not only will Warhammer 40K thrive, but Warhammer 40K will become the movie franchise if they handle it properly. If they let a fucking bunch of Kathleen Kennedy social justice warrior wannabes fucking do the show, and they do stupid shit like female space marines and all that sort of stuff, then they're done.
Do it.
They're cooked. They're fucking cooked. Oh, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I mean, I was willing to overlook the Dungeons and Dragons PC stuff in that last Dungeons and Dragons movie, which also tanked at the movie theater, by the way.
Shocker.
But for some odd reason, with Warhammer 40K, the way the universe is designed, which is why it wasn't ever given a movie franchise up until now, is because it does not conveniently lend itself to woke. Right? Like, if you try to wokeify Warhammer specifically, you might be able to do with Warhammer Fantasy, right? But Warhammer 40K, if you try to fucking woke Warhammer 40K, like, it's dead on arrival. And it's not because of the gatekeepers. Or it's not because there's a bunch of misogynist, racist, whatever people like not wanting to go see the movie. It's just that everybody like the fans of Warhammer 40K know what the lore is. And if they're not specific, even more so than the Star Wars fans, if they're not specific to the lore, especially given how that universe is, and I mean, Pearson doesn't know so much about Warhammer 40K, but I do, man. That place, even the good guys are bad. With very rare exceptions, even the good guys are bad. Even like the best of the space, man. We're kind of getting off topic here, but even the best of the Space Marine division, come Space Marine of the original 20, even the best of them, which would be the most humane of them, which are the salamanders. By the way, I'm going to also point this out. The salamanders are actually ebony skinned. They're black skinned, right? So they're the most humane. They're the most honorable. They're the best, like the best, like the actual like knights in shining armor. And even those guys are absolutely brutally ruthless in battle, right? They don't use their preferred weapons are flamethrowers. They like to burn their opponents to a fucking crisp, right? Like they don't humanely shoot you like the Ultramarines. Oh no. They come in with flamethrowers and fry you to a crisp. Like they are absolutely ruthless in battle. And that, by the way, are the salamanders, which are the best, which in my opinion are the most humane and the best, are the actual closest to being good of the Space Marine divisions or the Space Marine squads. But anyway, we're kind of getting off topic here. Does anybody else have anything more to say on this one before we move on to the next topic?
Next topic, please.
No, just because it's you. Okay, next topic. All right, the next topic. Oh, you're going to love this one. And this one was probably expected. As we all know, a few months back, PayPal tried to slide in a fine system if you where they could fine you for hate speech. If you had, they could basically take money out of your account, $2,500 a pop, if you got nailed for hate speech. It got, and they claimed it was done by accident, but I'm pretty certain that that was done on purpose. And they even after they got caught, they tried to sneak. They still tried to sneak it in and got caught again. Well, T-Mobile. And it was only T-Mobile. It wasn't the other cell phone provider. It was just T-Mobile. And the fact that they tried to do this over Christmas tells you something about this. This was probably not an accident. T-Mobile's new terms of service is that if you use their network and engage in, and of course this nebulous term, hate speech, that you can receive a fine anywhere from $500 to $2,500. And if you don't pay it, you get kicked off T-Mobile's network. Of course, it got caught. They didn't get hammered into the ground the way PayPal did because it was Christmas time. But they got caught. More than likely, T-Mobile is probably. I haven't seen again, right? I haven't seen a lot of stories about T-Mobile the same way I saw with PayPal. It will probably start to kick in when T-Mobile actually tries to see this through and especially when they have to specifically define what hate speech is, because I mean. It's gonna reach a point, in particular with hate speech, where it's gonna be like, okay, you know what? Enough with just this quote unquote hate speech. What is actually hate speech? Right? None of this like up to the individual company or whatever to decide what hate. So there's gonna probably be an actual legal challenge done to this at some point. T-Mobile got away with, they appear to have not taken as much flack on it, probably, again, because it was Christmas time. People want to do other stuff over Christmas, but they did. And this is a perfectly logical next step. I'm fully expecting that other cell phone providers, if T-Mobile doesn't take major flack for doing it, other cell phone providers are going to try to do the same thing. Why are they going this route? Well, it's the same reason why they did this with PayPal, right? They pretty much have lost the battle with social media, right? Rumble is pretty much mainstream. Odyssey will probably get there within another year or two. BitChute, despite all of the flack that the British government has thrown at them, is still up and running, and then getting its services getting better and better and better as we go along. And they can't even shut down Manosphere content now because MGTOW TV is filling in that gap quite nicely. In fact, as of right now, I have more subs on and this should probably come as no surprise to you. I have more subs on MGTOW TV than I do on any of my other channels. Although, again, right, it's not. I don't have one that has more than all of the others put together. And yes, by the way, I have started posting up at Brighteon again. I just moved up a level here last week. The aim here is that they can't control you at the social media level. So now they're going to go to the payment providers and they're going to go to the cell. They're probably going to try and go after the internet providers at some point as well and try to force them to impose nebulous hate speech rules as well. The aim on this is because they're losing the fight, and they are losing the fight desperately. And while I am not completely sold that Trump is going to be the big, great reformer that he's supposed to be, I mean, the feeling that I'm getting from Trump is that he's mighty pissed with certain people. So there's going to be certain people that are going to be in trouble when Trump wins. And it's like, and one of the things I can almost virtually guarantee you is Trump is going to blow open the internet in such a way that they won't be able to censor it the way they did back in 2020. Just because of what basically Twitter and Facebook and YouTube and all those other places did to him over the flimsiest of circumstances. And of course, we will be covering Trump and the Epstein list and the fact that he's not on the list next on for 351. But yeah, this is an attempt by the establishment to try to gain control of the narrative again by forcing the companies that are internet providers to do the enforcing for them. They can't. The government cannot. Well, what's going to happen is that this thing with the cell phone companies is going to falter, and they're going to have to literally exercise government power to try to do this. And it's going to be a little bit easier in Canada to do it because of the way the structure is set up here. Although again, right, there's at least 2 provinces that are not going to go along with most of what Trudeau is planning. But this is basically them attempting to seize control of the narrative in some form or fashion in a way that enables them to be the only voice on the field. And of course, it's not going to work. But I mean, again, right? Cell phones are in trouble because not only are they facing this, but cell phones are also facing the fact that the iTunes Store and Google Play are not going to be are probably, as the year progresses, are not going to be the only places you can get your apps from, which means that the app monopoly is broken as well. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to V.
Yeah, I agree with them actually doing the blocking of the hate speech stuff. I want as much overreach as humanly possible, because then that means people are going to start using alternative tech like my social network, tlbtalk.com, and or people start utilizing communication like they're meant to in person. We need to stop the dependence upon telecommunications, as much as possible. They already have these phones rigged to where they're recording everything you say. I've been wrestling with my mobile devices since I got here to the States, trying to shut this off, shut that off. And then I go back to my devices and everything's turned back on. So I've literally had to get down and try to de-Googlefy my devices. It's ridiculous how much stuff is actually is tapped into. So what I would actually like to see is people, once people stop putting their personal stuff over these telecommunication devices, what I would like to see is them getting fined just for stuff they're saying just from being around their phones. Oh, we heard you say this. I mean, people get rid of these devices altogether. Go back to hardline computers and social network, TLBTalk.com, and we'll be straight. That's what I want. So hopefully it goes that way. So with that, I'll pass it over to Rivers.
Well, you answered a question I was going to ask Naroki about. Is this just the States? Is this going to be, or how far does this go out? And somehow I'm just not surprised. I suppose in a sense I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if they're going to try to tie in, shall we say, hate speech with the list of people that are on Epstein's list or that will be accused of being pedophiles and the like. Because, remember, there's a club and you ain't in it. At least the normal ones aren't. So I don't want to say it this way, but I'm going to say it. You know what I'm probably going to say. It's like, this is just in the category of that this just doesn't surprise me. I mean, the end is damn near constant fightings with his phones, which, sorry, man, it's not surprising. It's really not. Yeah. I don't know what to say anymore. I really don't. It's not that it's getting out of hand, but like it's really getting to the point where just shit's really not surprising me anymore. And since we know how much of a free speech advocate that the Trudeau government is, that's not surprising either. So I don't know. At some point, it will all make sense, but right now, as the saying goes, when you're running through hell, keep running. So we'll see how this goes. We'll see where this goes. If things really start to heat up here in Canada because of a certain list, I won't be surprised if there is going to be. Don't be surprised if there's a vote of confidence. That's all I'm going to say. And if that is the case, something like this, I think, will be dead in the water. I really do. But we'll see. We will see. And on that note, I really don't have anything more to say on this one. Oh, actually, no. A question to ask you then. Would it be any different if I was to downgrade my phone to go from a quote smartphone down to a talk and text, like a simple one? V, are you there? Okay, I guess not.
That's real interesting.
Yeah.
Say it again.
Okay. When I realized how addictive addicted. I was becoming on my smartphone at the time. It was a Motorola G. I can't remember. No, it was a Moto Play. Loved it. It had some really nice features to it. Like the projection was an actual projector with the phone was great. But when I realized what was happening to my brain, I returned it and I downgraded to a talk and text flip phone. Would the surveillance still be with the flip phones as well?
Well, you would have to be able to scroll through permissions and okay them or not okay them, that sort of thing, like you do with normal apps. If you don't have the apps on there, then the NSA is gonna need.
The likelihood of surveillance is going to be that much more difficult.
It's gonna be more difficult, and they'll need an actual reason to tap your device, which I'm sure they'll come up with. But other than that, generally, yeah, that's better off. I was actually thinking about doing that myself. I was just going back to a whack grandma. So.
Well, that's assuming that they don't track your. Well, that's assuming they don't track your phone, regardless of what it is, and frighten your hands, like you've mentioned before.
All right.
Okay, cool. No, I had to ask, and I think that was probably one of the better things that I could ask about. Is there a way to get around this? So, okay, no, I'm good.
Yeah. You also get well, they have these new phones coming out. Some are already out that have Linux phone operating, and you definitely have more control over that than you would any regular Android. Something you can also do if you want to risk it, you can root Android phone.
I've looked into that. Yep, I've looked into that. Graphene. Sorry to interrupt you. I know that there's the Graphene operating system. There's about 4 or 5 of them, actually.
Yeah. But again, there's also the option of rooting your phone. There's a chance you can brick your phone if you don't do it right. Well, the software is not supported. You can brick your phone. But if it is successful, you can root your phone, which means you have full administrative access to every app. You can start cutting out permissions of each app or start getting rid of system apps. Problem is, if you get rid of the wrong system app, the phone will stop functioning.
And it's bricked.
And then it's essentially
okay.
But if you want to try that, back up your OS, back up your ROM, and then you can try it again. Reinstall again. So yeah.
Okay. Cool beans. Ubuntu Touch, Postmarket OS, Sailfish OS, Mobian. It's probably a deviation of Debian. Yeah, Debian for mobile. That's what I thought. Manjaro ARM, Arch Linux ARM, and OpenSUSE. Now, those are the Linux operating systems that could be potentially installed on your phone. Google, of course. Sorry, Android. No, that's cool. All right, well, cool. I don't think I have anything more to add to this one, so I'm good. You done, my friend?
Yeah, hold on a second here. Yeah, we're done.
I would go with Graphene because that's actually designed specifically for the phones. The other ones are just adapted. But go with Graphene. Yeah.
Go with Graphene?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Next.
All right. So then, hold on a second here. Let me just. Oh, this next one is good because I was talking about this. Again, we were talking about this on December 31st, last show of the year. I was saying that there were going to be large numbers of layoffs, and I mean, what ended up happening is that again, like just kind of like how they caught that plane not 14 hours after we finished doing that show that night. They caught that plane in France, smuggling 10 kids on that Romanian airplane, and they caught a hold of it. And this was another one of those where sort of like, well, you knew that there were going to be layoffs coming. There's going to be massive. I mean, we haven't seen anybody really push on the layoffs yet, probably because we're still, and I have to point this out, technically speaking, even though the first Sunday was the first Sunday of the year was actually, oh, actually, no, the first Sunday this year is on the 7th. Sorry. Guess I'm gonna be doing. Oh God, I got a tradition that I got to do on the 7th. So yeah, it's gonna be a very busy Sunday for me. We may have to do the show earlier on Sunday, or move it to Monday. I got a tradition on the first Sunday of every year that I want to keep because I missed the first one. But Google is going to be laying off 30,000 people. Now, I am hardly surprised at this. Google, by the way, in their most recent faux pas, got caught attempting to because the Republican Party decided to, and again, I'm not sold on the Republicans at all, just like I'm not sold on the conservatives up here. But the Republicans figured out that they're probably not going to get a fair shake from YouTube. So they went and the first few debates, well, actually, I think all of the debates for the Republicans are live streamed exclusively at Rumble, not YouTube. Google got caught attempting, and they do this, by the way. Google does curate their content as well. They got caught because people are getting smart now to stuff like Google and YouTube and whatever. Google buried the link to the Republican debate on Rumble, I believe on page 3. So they got caught doing that. When you start looking and you start digging, you actually find that they're doing a lot of this. And again, Louis Rossmann talked about, and by the way, I'm going to bring up YouTube since Google owns YouTube. I'm going to bring up YouTube as an example. Louis Rossmann was talking about how YouTube has been kind of like doing the equivalent of what they pulled with the ads was pretty goddamn sleazy. Louis Rossmann, and what they did when the Grey J app came out was just absolutely hilarious. The whole thing with this is really Louis Rossmann's comment on YouTube is that they appear to be a company that's going through their couch trying to look for spare change on their couch, right? One of the reasons why I suspect that YouTube might be having to do that is because Google doesn't have the money because I mean, they've never really turned a profit on a video platform yet with YouTube. And of course, they're probably not going to now because all of the original content creators that made YouTube so good now have all gone. Most of them have. There's still a few that are on you. Actually, I'll say a few. There's actually quite a few people on YouTube that still have not started co-sharing their content on Rumble or Odyssey or BitChute or MGTOW TV or Brighteon. Like, they still haven't gone over to those alt platforms yet. So there's still a lot of content creators, Jordan Peterson and Candace Owens being in particular two that are really being hypocritical around this. Now, the issue with YouTube, and this is something that I've noticed recently because I'm actually going back through older Manosphere content, including stuff from like 10, 11 years ago. Now, there was a particular feminist content creator known as Viviet Tiptree. Now, Viviet Tiptree got in serious, serious trouble for, and the woman who did this whose name was Pamela O'Shaughnessy, wrote a blog on her WordPress account, basically. Well, she didn't do a direct call to action because that would have put her in legal trouble. But what she did is, because she's a legal reporter, a book who writes stories about courtroom drama, that sort of thing, she talked around it and did it in such a way. But what she was basically writing about was the fact that most men just need to be killed and other men need to be genetically manipulated so that their maleness is basically bred out of them. She got caught, she got exposed, and there was a lot of content about her on YouTube, which is now gone. There was also a video done by the Scum Manifesto, which I'm actually may have to go looking for here when I turn this over to V next, showing these women doing a performance piece where these women were jumping around happily and whatever, and then they go up and just shoot this guy in the back of the head just because he's a guy. And then they jump and they celebrate and they go away. And it's probably one of the most disturbing, disgusting pieces of video that I have ever seen. I also cannot find that on YouTube anymore, anywhere. And I suspect that a lot of it is because, YouTube in particular has been curating their content. It also may have received enough strikes on it that they took it down. But, Google, and this is something that Raging Golden Eagle was talking about back in 2017. Raging Golden Eagle was talking about the death by 1,000 cuts. Well, Google can afford to lose 10 million here. They can lose a million here. They can lose a couple 100 million there. They can lose a few thousand here. And what happens as they go along is that as they go along is that all of a sudden their revenue starts to drop. And it just drops. And then all of a sudden one day, just like what happened with Disney last year.
I was just going to say, sounds like Disney.
And what happened was just like what happened with Disney. All of a sudden, the revenue, and they can keep doing that as long as they're getting alternate revenue from alternate places to offset the losses, which is what Disney had been able to do. They've been able to use their theme parks to offset the losses that they were, and they were also making enough decent movies that didn't really affect them. When they chose to directly intervene in what was going on in Florida, though, that changed. When Project Vera, I believe it was still Project Veritas at the time, exposed Disney executives as unhinged social justice leftists, that killed it. And of course, Ron DeSantis doing what Ron DeSantis did. And of course, the usual stuff around the long list of pedophiles that just keep getting arrested at their theme parks. And it all just added up, and they were going into a recession to boot, so people just didn't have the disposable income that they had. All of a sudden, Disney just doesn't have the revenues to do what it used to do. This is the same sort of thing that's happening with Google. In fact, you're probably going to start seeing it. Again, you're going to start seeing the rise of an alternate economy. Maybe not this year, but at 2025, I'm seeing this is going to start becoming a serious issue down the road. What you're seeing is that YouTube is, basically Google has opened the door for another search engine to come in and fill the gap. Now, maybe I hope it's not going to be DuckDuckGo, because DuckDuckGo's got some issues. But Brave is certainly in a position to go through that gap. SMS, there's a couple of others that might be able to jump into that gap, but basically Google did what the same thing what Disney did, except at a slower pace, and now it's starting to catch up to them. And it's like, and they're gonna be, and just like Disney, they're starting to lay people off, right? And heaven forbid if Sundar Pichai has to go over to Congress again and testify, because he won't be able, like, it won't be like 2018. I believe it was 2018 or 2019 he was called to testify, and at that point the Republican congressman didn't know the right questions to ask because they weren't familiar with the internet. This time they are. So Puchai won't be able to pull some of the stunts that he pulled if he ever has to go, and he probably will have to at some point go back to Congress and testify. He won't be able to pull some of the he won't be able to pull some of the sleights of hand that he pulled last time, because again, right, the people who know or in the know about what's going on with the internet in Congress and the Senate, thanks to the Twitter files and thanks to the Facebook files, they know. So it's like, yeah, it's looking very much like Google is going to be taking a couple of more. Google is just a couple of more big hits away from, like, I won't say toppling, but what's going to happen is they're going to open the door for somebody else to come through. I'm hoping that somebody else is going to be brave, but I don't know. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to V.
Yeah, well, I'm all too familiar with YouTube burying stuff. Uh, I mean, even with the unique titles of some of the stuff I put out, like my Family Case Files show, you can literally put in Family Case Files and the name of the guest into the YouTube search engine. You won't find it's like the sixth page. You'll get everything else that's not even related. Doesn't even have the same words in the title, but you'll find them anywhere from the sixth to 10th page. That's how much the point of a search engine is you put in word for word, verbatim. You're supposed to get your video that has the title verbatim. So they are, in effect, basically playing favoritism and doing censorship at the same time. So, again,
No. Sorry.
Oh, did you finally slip out of that jumpsuit? Or did you just get one off?
Oh, fuck you up the goat ass. Good. Typical banter,
Anyways,
folks. Typical banter. We're good.
Goat sex. Anyways, yeah. So, I just hope people just start moving. It's just what I said in the previous topic. Move away from the platform where you have the most freedom and the most privacy. So, it's amazing how these devices collect information. So I use a YouTube alternative on my Androids, not specifically because I'm trying to avoid anything, but it doesn't matter what I do. If I use the default YouTube app on the videos, it'll have the control buttons on top of anything I'm watching. And it doesn't matter what I do in the settings. I can go in the settings and say no UI buttons on the video, or make it disappear after 3 seconds. It just stays plastered on the screen. So it's like I know I've got a hacked version of YouTube, so I use YouTube alternatives. And even the YouTube alternatives collect data from the other YouTube alternatives. So, for example, I downloaded. I used YouTube, or sorry, TubeMate 2, and then I just downloaded TubeMate 1, and it already has the suggestions of what I should watch. My list. Off the grid living, girls wrestling. Uh, anyways, so the stuff I watch on YouTube.
Really?
Go down.
Yeah. Okay. So gimp suits for me, girls wrestling, and Jello for you. Okay. You know what? Fuck. Whatever works. Whatever works.
Yeah, how would it know that that's what I was watching on its sister app? So but again, it's too much data collection, it's too much monitoring. We need to send these people off and catch the pedophiles with the child porn. That's what we need to do. This is wasted energy trying to track me.
But that makes sense. What you're saying makes sense. But what you're saying is that's what the problem with the system is. But we know that already. We know that already.
Yeah, it's the pedophiles running everything. Yeah. Yeah. So people need to get off of YouTube. Absolutely. I actually just made a bunch of business cards, and I've been actually passing out flyers all week.
Okay.
Oh well, yeah, I've got 5,000 business cards. You guys see it? I put it in chat. It's a huge box that weighs 20 pounds.
You must have seen my snarky remark. Well, I wasn't really asked, but now I know.
Well, I've been printing out hundreds of flyers and passing them out around the neighborhood here, and just have my links to. I'm making sure they have my Odyssey, my Rumble, uh, and BitChute links before they go to my YouTube. So, yeah, YouTube wants to play me dirty like that, then I'm gonna play YouTube dirty like that. So that's all we can do. With that, I'll pass it on to you, dear son.
With no gimp suit. Well, I was going to say, when I was in Seattle, where I was staying was literally across the street from Google. And my friend, who's been on the show before, and I'll leave it at that, has told me, dude, you got to apply at Google. You've got the work experience and blah, blah, blah. I was like, well, yeah, I might have the work experience overall, but, they need tech support. I'm thinking to myself, no, they probably don't. And if they do have tech support, it's going to be right out of, I don't know, Ill Will Press. Foamy the Squirrel and the guy from India with the fucking turban on his head. And
oh, yeah, I used to watch that on Newgrounds.
Oh my God. My favorite though is small, medium, tall, or small, medium, large. Welcome to the Star Schmucks Coffee House. It's like, fuck off.
Yeah, I remember that one.
I just want some coffee-flavored coffee. Oh, sorry, maybe that's Dennis Leary. Anyway, but I avoided even. Well, I avoided. I looked into it, and there was nothing there, at least not in Seattle, that could have worked for me if I was looking for a job there. And all things being equal, I feel dirty enough that I'm going through the Google Data Analytics certification course through Coursera, which reminds me I need to finish up those last 2-week modules, get them done for next week. But anyway, I mean, I'm feeling like a fucking dirty whore by doing it, but like it or not. And
the guy in the gimp suit feels like a dirty whore. Let that sink in, folks.
Fuck you.
to say that myself.
No gimp suits allowed. Thank you very much. Oh, but was it Michael Sartain? I think that's the guy's name. He's with Rolo. But he was talking with some other guy, Filipino, I believe, looking at him by nationality or ethnicity.
Oh, what the hell's his name? Sneeko. That's his name. It might be
No.
Sneeko you're talking about. No?
No, it's not Sneeko. He doesn't. He looks more refined than what I think I've seen of Sneeko. Anyway, they were talking about dating apps, and they were comparing it with what Amazon has done to get rid of the mom and pop shops. And when it comes down to it, it boils down to winner takes all in the tech field. So Google had its run. It's at its peak, and it's only a matter of time until it falls. Apple is still up there. You've got your zombies, your consumers that will blindly follow. For myself, I will get an Android-based phone, although I'm going to switch over to a flip phone soon enough when the time comes. But just like the competition between Uber and whatever else the competition is, like the amount of money that they've got to spend to stay on top and to be on top is ridiculous. But and this thought just hit me right now. Like what happened with Twitter/X getting rid of a lot of useless people. It's probably kind of the same thing as to what Google has had to do as well. And like I remember hearing about how wasteful everything was at Twitter. Sky was the limit. Oh, you only want to work for 1 or 2 hours a day? Okay, yeah, that's fine. Come in, do what you're gonna do, and then go home or fuck around and find out. Well, actually, no. With Twitter, it was a case of fuck around and find out, which I think is probably the situation right now going on at Google as well. Now, overall, if the people that have gotten laid off were about as useful as tits on a bull, although that now does have a different whole fucking meaning, but let's go with the more traditional sense, shall we say. It doesn't make any sense and that they're not supposed to be there. And if that's the case with them, which was that they're not supposed to be there because they're useless, then I'm not as harsh about the layoffs, but I'm still going to be harsh. It'll be a case of a iron fist with a velvet glove. It's still going to hurt, but it's just going to look nice. That's all. And this is but the beginning as to what's going to happen. I'm sorry to say this, folks, but we are in a depression. I guess that's about the only way to say it. It hasn't hit yet, but it's going to, and when it does, it's going to be messy and it's going to be ugly. Now, and for all of the people in Google that are going to be having problems with finding work and whatnot, now I'm feeling sorry for you, but not particularly. You're going to have to deal with your mental illness, I think, to be more employable. And that's about all that I can, and that's about all I am going to say. Surprised, but not surprised. So, on that note, my friend, back to you.
Yep. Yep. I would say learn to code, but apparently coders are on the way out.
Hollywood needs to, but anyway.
Learn to dig.
Go off grid.
I'm fortunate that I have got a couple of careers that I can fall back on, which are going to be, which I mean, basically, one of them, which I can, I mean, it's not the best paying profession, but I mean, guaranteed with my experience that, I mean, if I send out an application, I'm going to get a job, right? So it's like I'm not particularly worried myself. But I mean, there's going to be, I mean, I'm still like this next year because I have a job now that has me locked in for at least a year. Is what I have put on the table for it. I might even go longer on this gig. Um, I'm going to be, especially since my EI ended. And by ended at the start of the year. I sent you that message on Telegram. So
Yep,
looks like I dodged a bullet on that one. Wow. Yep. Like I got the full-time job literally like with 3 weeks left to go on my EI. That was tough.
And I was gonna say for the non-Canadian listeners, we included EI means employment insurance. So when you lose your job for whatever reason, if it falls within the parameters of what is deemed acceptable, then yeah, you get government money for that.
Yeah,
so
my EI just ended like start of the year. So yeah, I dodged a perpetual bullet there. But yeah, certain people are not going to be so lucky. If you're one of those university students that got a batshit fucking useless degree in third world feminist drum beating, you may have some difficulties.
Does that involve having a double-ended dildo and you're slapping at the other end that's not in your twat on the drum? Just asking.
I have no idea, man. But I mean, I can virtually guarantee. I mean, the woke. I get like assuming Trump wins this year, which I'm going to. Again, I said this in 2020. I thought Trump was going to win, and he didn't. Like it's so bad for Biden that even if they pulled every single cheating, and they are attempting to do that by doing stuff like removing him off the ballot, even if they pulled every single cheating ploy they've got, Biden still wouldn't win because RFK is going to take away enough votes from Biden that virtually guarantee RFK is going to take away votes from Trump as well, but not nearly as much. Like if RFK sees it through, and I think he will, Biden is cooked. In fact, RFK might actually end up winning a couple of states based upon some of the stuff that I'm seeing. But yeah, it's not looking good for the tech sector at all. And based upon what I've seen Google do in the past few years, good on them. You know what? You deserve to go down. And yeah, the rise of the alt economy is going to pretty much finish off a lot of companies like this. But with that, let's get into the next topic here. All right, let me just timestamp this. Okay, let me play a little clip here. I actually saved it up on YouTube here to make my point about this next topic. It's about fat influencers. It's done by Blair White. I think you'll find this interesting.
Okay. Well, Blair White I can handle.
That doesn't invalidate the things that I say. She died. You ready to get super science? She died too.
Today I got the big Fruit Loop.
He's dead. Join me on my fat positive radio show, which didn't last long because she died.
What's wrong, everyone?
Yep.
Oh my God.
We've talked about this from time to time. And here's the thing, right? The media has been covering this up. We're not talking about women that are maybe a little bit, although we are to a certain degree. We're talking about women that are probably heavier than me and V, which is saying something.
Okay, you're heavy enough. V, I can only imagine how much he weighs because he looks pretty stocky.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to be what, 6'2", 6'3"?
I'm 6'2". I'm 6'2". Last time I checked, I'm about 260, 265, 270, somewhere in there.
Yeah, and V?
I'm about 340.
And how tall?
You're how tall?
I'm 5'10" and a half.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
really? I would have thought.
Rich.
Sorry, man. I would have thought you would have been taller, but okay.
Oh no,
You're-
he's above average height. He's above average height.
Well, I'm slightly below average height. Anyway, okay.
Yeah. All right, that's above average height. Yeah, no. We're talking about women heavier than V here.
Oh my god.
Or me for that matter. I mean, any woman that's my weight is probably not one that's going to get a lot of male attention. And again, right, this is the same sort of thing. Except unless you're V, of course.
You knew that was coming.
I'm what? Am I supposed to break in a 90-pound chick? Come on, I'm allowed to have a big girl. I'm big, right?
Okay, well, to each his own, V.
You've shown us what you
consider-
like, and butterballs are not my thing. That's all I'm going to say.
That's all I'm going to say about it myself. Yeah. So yeah. Apparently, most of these major fat influencers. Tess Holliday is not among that crowd, by the way. And I'm going to have to actually download a photo of Tess Holliday, include it in the slides to show just for effect. They have not been bothering to report that they're dead. And Blair White went out and did a little bit of a run on this and found out that this should come as absolutely no shock to you. Most of these fat positivity, a lot of them, especially if they were over the age of 35, they all died. That one guy who ate the Fruit Loops, he was only 32. Yeah.
Well,
yeah, we've covered this before. There is a multiple set of issues that come with being really super heavy. For instance, now that I'm around this weight, I'm noticing that my knees tend to get inflamed a lot more often. When I run, it's not like I'm sprinting anymore. It's more like if I have to run across the street, I'm kind of like lumbering across the street. Yeah, like carrying around and by the way, I am not super. I mean, Rearson has looked at me, and I mean, I am not like super heavy, like super fat by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, I'm sorry to bring this up, man, but when you were last down here for the comic convention.
Oh yeah.
And you were showing me the pictures and whatnot. Just kind of, you gained weight. And you're like, how? Where do you see that? And I said, it's in your neck.
Yeah.
And I can look at myself as well too, and I see that it's there. And beer and wine is my biggest alcoholism.
Well, I mean, it's like you get older, you do have to pay a lot more attention to your health. In fact, I had a medical appointment over my kidney stones today. Yeah, well, I mean, it was one that I had to put off because I had to go out to work over the holidays, so I had to reschedule it to today. They didn't find anything, but you know what? It's not going to become official until the doctors take a look at it in a day or two. I think they're gone. I haven't felt any pain or anything in a while, so maybe they are, but I have no idea until they tell me that they're gone, right?
Yeah.
When you get older, you start to lose muscle mass and whatever, and you have to start paying a lot more. Here's the ironic part, and now that I'm putting the pieces together, I'm actually starting to think maybe if this isn't being done on purpose, right? Like that whole
What do
The
you mean?
whole gender dynamic of women wearing those skimpy outfits to go to the gym and work out and get shame guys for looking, and how it's not in any way being discouraged, right? There's a lot of guys who will just simply not. And I mean, when I do go to the gym, I usually go early in the morning and late at night, so I don't have to deal with this crap.
Okay.
But sometimes I'm not able to do that.
Mhm.
The whole thing about it is that, I mean, there's guys that just there's a couple of gyms that, I mean, there's like literally a bell you can buzz someone for staring at you, right? And it's like Hammerhand talked about that. He went to this one gym where he got a membership, and they had that bell, they had that buzzer, and Hammerhand just basically turned right around and canceled his membership right on the spot. I've had to deal with, I mean, the gym that I go to, for the
Mhm.
most part, I mean,
Yeah.
it's a decent place.
But
I have had, I haven't had like an actual outright like having the people come over and talk to me, but I've had a couple of instances where, you know, some girl, like, I mean, one time there's this one girl between me and the set of weights, and I had to walk past her to get to my weights, you know, and I had to take a look at her just to make sure that I wasn't actually bumping into her. And she was looking at me. I looked at her, didn't think anything of it. Next thing I know, I'm going over doing my next set, and there's a guy sitting with her giving me the hairy eyeball, and it's like, well, fuck you, dude. I'm not I'm not moving from my exercise platform because some chick is so fucking narcissistic that she thinks me walking past to get to the fucking weights is about her, right? That could have gone really badly. Like approaching a woman in the gym, unless you have IOIs above and beyond 100%, you just don't do that, right? It's too fucking risky, right? And but I mean, getting back to this, I mean, can this whole thing with fetish, which is like a bunch of women who are not, and putting V aside, the overwhelming number of men are not going to find 250-pound land whales particularly fucking attractive. And what you had with a lot of fat influencers, unless of course you're Captain Ahab, then of course you get your blubber count by hanging outside Victoria's Secret. um you know, like most are not going to find, and it's like these were women like absolutely demanding that men like them anyway. And this is all, you're seeing the same sort of thing with transgender people. Oh, well, if you don't want to date a trans woman, then you're fucking homophobic. And I'm like, no, I don't want to date a transgender woman because I like vaginas, not dicks.
you mean natural vaginas, not
Yeah.
plastic pussy.
Yeah, no, I like the real thing. Thank you. Yes.
You don't like
Thank
the
you.
invert,
No, I don't.
the invert.
So I mean, it's the same sort of thing, right? And of course, and of course, this is something that was brought up by Pearly Things. Can you imagine like short, fat, hairy guys going online and begging women to like them? Can you imagine how these guys would just get laughed right off the fucking internet? That would be the male equivalent of what these women were doing. And of course, right, you know, they don't want to, you've noticed that they don't talk about the negative health effects of morbid obesity, which is the issue that I'm having to deal with here. Is I don't want to go to the gym to get buff. I just want to get to the gym so that if the shit hits the fan, my own health, my own body isn't going to be the reason why I don't potentially get away from a scary situation. That's my concern, you know. And I mean, I've seen, and this is no word of a lie. I saw one couple one time when I was still taking the train everywhere. Like I saw this one couple that was so lazy that they weren't handicapped. They took they had in this one platform I'm going to say it was Coliseum Station and here in Edmonton. You know, if you come in to that platform, what you have to do is you have to enter and you have to either go down the stairs or go down the elevator, walk to the platform, and then take an escalator or the stairs or the elevator up. This couple, they were not fucking handicapped. They weren't on a wheelchair or anything like that, but they were both obese. They walked over to the elevator, took the elevator down, which is okay. There's no escalator. Maybe they got knee problems. But here's the thing that really blew my mind is that when we got to have to get back to Coliseum Station, when you had to go up to get onto the platform, there's an escalator there that you could take that was working. These two fucking people were so lazy that they couldn't even take the escalator up. They waited for the fucking elevator to come and lift them up. And I'm like, you know, that's the issue of what happens with a shit hits the fan scenario, which is the thing that concerns me even more than my appearances, is that, if the shit hits the fan, I mean, yeah, okay, I got all the knowledge in the world. I got food at home. I'm probably gonna have to keep forgetting to buy that emergency supply, but I've got a decent supply of food at home that I could probably cook and make if I need to hunker down for a few days. But I mean, what's gonna happen if I actually have to bug out? Like, am I going to be, if I have to get to the point where I actually have to physically hoof it on foot, which is a possibility here, like, am I going to be able to get away? Like, am I going to be able to run fast enough to get away from a potential group of fucking raiders or whatever? Like, that's an issue for me. That's something that every single person who is in our sphere needs to be considering, And I could tell you for a fact that virtually if the shit hits the fan, virtually every morbidly obese person is probably dead within 30 days. Or the ones that have, or they will have gotten themselves into shape really goddamn quick. This isn't just a question of immediate health issues. This isn't a question of shaming guys for having a preference. This is also a situation of, if the shit hits the fan, like, is your health, is your body weight going to get in the way of you being able to do what you need to do? And with that, I'm going to turn it over to V.
Well, that's another reason why I just bought an RV. Home is anywhere where I'm at. It's got a huge engine. Transmission's good. This thing can scale mountains. Old Econoline. Yeah. Well, and it helps to have a little extra around the midsection because you're not going to starve to death. I know I don't have to immediately.
Not immediately, but you will at some point.
Not, the skinnier people will have a harder time than me. I can go 3 or 4 days just normally. It's not a big deal. But when I do eat, I enjoy it. But
I do too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, I'm kind of like, when I was keyboard warrior, building companies and media and stuff like that for the past 7 years, it's like, yeah. I mean, yeah, I've got the beer belly, but I'm still built like a linebacker. So I still got the power. I got all that stuff. But when I was a keyboard warrior there, yeah, just going downstairs would win me. Now that I'm here back in the States, I'm walking 2 to 3 miles every other day, passing up flyers. So I bounced back real quick, pretty good in the situation. I'm always thinking, and I thank God I have a brain. I always think shortest distance between, point A and point B, and that's in any situation of danger, anything like that. I don't have to exhaust myself or spend too much energy or be in a situation where I just can't get out of it. So uh, I'm always on the ready. I got my I got my my spray, my mace, pepper spray, whatever you want to call it. Uh, Usually have something else on me. Uh, I'm buying a Huben GK1 25 millimeter. I'm sorry, 25 caliber. So I'm not worried about the whole danger thing, especially since most people are intimidated by me anyway until I speak. Uh, so I mean, but I don't know. And it's funny that you brought up that these women were just dying. It's funny to me because I actually looked up. I did some history behind, some research on the history because you watch television back in the 40s, 50s, 60s. You see these women in these little dresses and these corsets. They're squeezing the life out of them to where they've got a few inches in diameter around the waist, and then all of a sudden you had big women. And I looked into it. There was a movement for for big women, and guess what? It wasn't started by women. It was started by men. So there was this organization that wanted big women. They started a magazine where they had models, plus size models, and they had feeders, stuffing these women up. And I looked at, I tried to look up some of these models. Yeah, of course, they're all dead. Each and every one of them. There's not a surviving person from their magazines, even from the 80s. So you can be big, but you can also be strong as well. You gotta balance your own biochemistry, I guess. But yeah, I mean, I know some women. Yeah, play football with them. I dare you. I'll just say that. They will pick you off the ground and plow you in, pile drive with speed. But that's mostly in the, I guess you would say, more ethnic uh, cultures. These white girls be butterballs, I'll tell you that. That's for sure. I don't know. It's just each to their own. I don't know. I just know they like to cook, and I like to eat. With that, I'll pass it on.
Oh man. I mean, I remember, and Naruki will remember me also being thin as a fucking rail. Like I was a fucking beanpole for God's sakes. 5'8"-ish, 135 pounds wet. And no matter what I did, my metabolism just, it was in and it was out. Now I've ballooned out to 180 to 100, well, close to 290 pounds. I'm not going to deny that. And I got the belly, and I've got the dad bod, turning into more of a grandpa bod. And I don't like what I see. And the only person that can do anything about it is me. Now, for these, for the fatties, for the flabbies, for the people that are consuming, and we're all guilty of this to some degree or another, unless you're incredibly religious, shall we say, or strict with whatever it is that you're putting into your body. most people don't care. And what I'm honestly curious to know is, in North America, or shall we say within the US of A, when it comes to being overweight, is it more women or is it more men or is it more or less about the same? Like, I'm honestly curious. And I'm going to mention her since Neuroki already brought her up, but Pearl, or Pearly Things, has basically said one of the downsides of getting married is that the woman that you're going to be marrying, yeah, she looks great now. Pop out a kid or two, and, well, she becomes, shall we say, matronly. Now that's code for V. There you go. Go tap that because the husband's probably just kind of going, yeah, I don't know if I do attractive anymore, but you're the only piece of ass I can really safely go after, so let's get it on. So, the problem with obesity, in my honest opinion, is that it doesn't kill people off fast enough. Nasty for me to say it, but I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be absolutely honest.
Why do we always gotta have the final solution with you?
I'm going to refrain from things I want to say right now. The Red Pill Nation may not have standards, but I have some form of standards. Well, the thing, though, V, is that these people are a drain on society. To some degree, I agree. To some degree, I am not going to say that Bill Burr isn't wrong. Look, you ate your way. You ate your way to the point where you can't get off the couch or the bed. But once you get up, you've got to start moving. You can walk your way out the door. Now, I don't know yet what the American healthcare system is like. But up here in Canada, it is rationed out. It doesn't cost you an arm and a leg to go visit your doctor, and by and large, it's not going to cost you an arm and a leg to go see a specialist. It's going to require time, and you have to be patient, and hopefully whatever's causing you the issue isn't going to kill you off. I wish I was serious. I wish I was joking about that, but that's what the reality is here. And I believe is the saying, best way to say it is, as the saying goes, is that you are what you eat. If you're eating food that you're not supposed to, or a food that is really, really bad for you, high refined sugar, or you love your white bread, or too much of one thing, whether it's too much meat or way too much vegetables or the Beyond Meat shit, the body will respond accordingly to what is being fed into it. And for the people that are morbidly, especially for the people that are morbidly obese, I mean, there's yeah, you're right. I am a final solution kind of guy. Not that I subscribe to the whole Nazi the Nazi thing, but if you can't stop yourself from fucking going out and buying and eating like 2 or 3 boxes of ding dongs in a night or a day or a week or whatever the fuck may be the case, well, reason would say, or logic would indicate, that this is not good for you. Yeah, I know, but it just tastes so good. Which sounds like my fucking wife. Oh my God. I actually found out from a coworker. He's in the same boat that I am in many, many ways. And when I go shopping for food, I buy food. The fruit, the vegetables, the protein, the dairy. And there are enough little extra things that, okay, fine, whatever. My son is conditioned for looking for the snacks first. He'll open up the fridge, he'll see that there's quite a bit of food in there, things that I make for a meal, and nope, he's going to look for the junk food. And I've given up. Honestly, I've given up. Like, that's what the problem is it some people hide it better, or most people hide it better. But with these fat influencers, who the hell was that one woman? She was she was some sort of a nurse on TikTok, and then she just ended up just being this fat positivity person. But you know what? If that's what makes you feel better, if that's what makes you happy because you don't have the actual drive to get better, to improve yourself, you know what? Nothing that I'm going to say, final solution or otherwise, is going to change your mind, because you're going to just sit there, stuff your face with the ding dongs and the Twinkies and chips and Fruit Loops and, you know, whatever else that's really is not that good for you. Go ahead. You know what? Just fucking go ahead and do it, because you're not going to listen. You don't want to listen because it's too inconvenient. And that's the problem with most people, with not most people, but with more than enough people in society, is that the reality is you know better, but you're not going to do it. So, I will ask the question as well too about with the fat influencers or whoever else. How many of them got the jab? Oh, and maybe that's another aspect as well too, Naruki, is that maybe they did get jabbed and they didn't want that to be known, so they've kept everything quiet.
It's possible. It's possible.
Yeah, just saying for a friend. Just saying for a friend. I am one to talk about my diet. It's not that bad, but it's not that good either. So we will see. We will see. And on that note, I am done.
Gobble, 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 gobble,
gobble. Screw it. That's all I'm saying. I got my wine. Screw it.
Oh, I don't even drink. So yeah. Anyway, yeah, that was it. So the next two are actually both tied into the same person. One in a good way, one in not so good a way. The first one, and we'll do the positive one for Ashley St. Clair right off the hop. Ashley St. Clair and another reporter were waiting at the airport to fly back into the U.S., and they noticed that there was this long line of what you would normally see of people that you would normally associate with crossing the border. The reason, and this was a late night flight. They were taking a red eye. They looked at some of these people and they realized that some of these people had what you would call
I'm at
illegal.
The Phoenix airport
they had,
right
they,
now.
they had
I'm waiting
that
to board my flight to New York,
they had been sent
to
back
JFK,
across the border,
and it looks like we have
and
a whole lot of migrants who are also boarding this flight that the U.S. taxpayers are paying for. This is what the U.S. taxpayers are paying for right here. Premium seats on Delta that they have people coming here. We're paying for this, shipping them out to New York City, because guess what? Everywhere else is at capacity. So they have these sanctuary cities like New York that they're now shipping these migrants to that we're all paying for.
And it turns out, and I think you're going to find this very ironic when you consider the fact that, if these airlines are so starved for money, then why the hell don't they just lower the prices a little bit? Maybe more people might be willing to take flights. Just hold on a second. I had to clear my throat there. Turns out that Delta and American are corporations, by the way. American corporations are like literally using their red-eye flights to fly illegal aliens into airports. And, like all three of the last remaining topics are all going to be sort of like, they're all kind of very loosely tied together. Topic 7 is going to be very interesting. The fact that there are corporations participating in the shipping of illegal, that is a violation of the law. You're not supposed to be doing that, but they are. Now we all know why this is happening, but it has to be this part has to be said out loud. One, because somebody with a lot of money, be it from the government or from a private foundation, is paying Delta and American to fly these illegals in on late night flights. And they're doing it on late night flights because people were a lot less likely to notice. But I mean, it's very clear why this is happening. And again, if the airlines are that hard up for cash that they are willing to do this, then the airline industry is in very serious trouble, right? Again, there's the usual boycotts being called, and of course, it's sort of like you're just getting one call for a boycott after another, and every once in a while, one works, like what happened with Disney and Bud Light this year. What you're going to start seeing here, maybe not this year, but definitely after, especially if the Democrats pull a massive upset and Biden somehow gets reelected, which I don't think is going to happen. But, even if Trump wins, Trump is going to have to be, to a certain degree, Trump is going to have to walk, because you saw that video that I sent you guys about the contingency that the deep state has in case Trump wins. And yes, we will be covering Nikki Haley on 351, just so you know. The whole issue here is that if they're at the point where these companies are so hard up that they're taking shitloads of money either from a government agency or from a private foundation to fly these illegals up, then the airline industry needs, it's like Hollywood. The airline industry either needs to die or needs to be seriously restructured. One of the reasons why I decided not to go to an Acapulco this year was because the flight, and by the way, I could actually afford the flight, but the flight and the hotel and the actual cost of the actual event itself would have run me about $2,000. And keep in mind, I do have that kind of money lying around, but I mean, not after what I've just gone through. Like, I mean, going down and flying back would have basically left me almost dead flat broke after the event was done, and I don't want to do that. But I mean, a big part of the expense, though, is fuel tax, right? That gets passed on. And it's like, that is a huge amount of cash that is part of the fee to go down, right? And if it's reached the point where where not enough people are flying anymore, and oh, by the way, let's not even include the fact that you're seeing more and more cases of people just like spurging out at airports and going crazy. I didn't report on this, but there was a guy, I believe at LaGuardia, who this influencer started freaking out because this guy used the wrong pronouns on him, and he just looked at them and said, like, yeah, you know what? You can keep screaming that all you want to, but if you can keep saying that it's a free country. But what's going to happen is if you keep doing it, I'm going to call security. They're going to escort you out, and you can get a flight on another airline. Shut the guy up. There was another gay couple, and this one guy just like absolutely freaked out because they didn't get his pet dog to him fast enough when they were done. And he's like spurging out, waiting in line, and the guy's husband is trying to the other guy in the couple is trying to calm him down, and he just won't calm down, right? Like he's just absolutely like losing it. Yeah, I don't know, and he got away with it. There were no repercussions for the guy. Yeah, just if it's reached the point where legitimate corporate airlines, and Delta and American are legitimate corporate airline carriers, are flying illegals into the country, then the illegal problem is not just a situation of the border not being secured. Like somebody is flying these. This is a deliberate invasion. That's really the only way to put it. And I got to step away because I got to get something in my stomach here. But V, off to you.
Okay, well, you guys are everywhere, so I'm kind of not knowing what the exact topic was. I do know, yeah, it's ridiculous flying. I spent about $2,000 getting here to the States. Absolutely ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. I remember just not too long ago. I mean, I could get to anywhere you wanted to in the world with, $500, $600. This inflation of prices has gotten ridiculous. And it's obvious that, I mean, again, it's just one of those things. If it's not necessary to fly, if you don't have to fly, I'm on business. I have to fly. But for these people who are vacationing and just, or I don't know, running from their problems or moving, take a Greyhound bus. Take time to remove yourself from society. Get on a bus, get on a train, get on a boat, rent a car. Quit feeding this greedy industry. Because it really is. It's so greedy. It's greedy. It's it's unnecessary. I mean, imagine, and the thing is, you screw up, and it doesn't matter if you buy the insurance or you buy the policy that guarantees you your money back. Things go wrong, they're still not going to give you money back. I lost $800 buying through an agent, and I get to the line, and I have extra bags, and I don't know what to call these people, the clerks behind the ticket booth areas. This guy just like,
agents.
I don't know what to do with this. Yeah, I don't know what to do with this. You have extra baggage. I'll pay for it. I have the money. Just check. And he just totally like flipped out and made an issue of it for like 30 minutes. And it's, you don't have time to get on your plane. Whew. Even though I bought the policy that assured me, I can reschedule whatever. Nope. No such thing. There was no support for it, for one, since the company I bought it from was in the States. Oh, they have no authority here. They have, download their app. It's a totally different time zone. Nobody's even awake in America. They don't have 24-hour airports in America like they do here in Europe. It's like, what? So I'm screwed, and deal with it yourself, sir. And they just do little. I don't want to use the F word. They're little flamboyant. I'll use that one. Flamboyant walk away, and they disappear in the back, where you can't do anything about it. So, flying. That's really one thing. I think that's been my message the entire evening. Stop supporting bad business. Stop doing it. If it isn't life or death, if I could have, if there was like a land bridge from Europe to America, I would have taken a bus. I don't care if it took 30 days to get here. I would have taken a bus. Just to not support the airline. Put me on a cruise, a submarine, I don't give a damn. These airlines, and you want to talk about human rights violations? I've been researching a lot of human rights violations and stuff I got to deal with. There's customer rights, yeah. Flyers' rights, yeah. Good luck with that. You can spend more money and legal crap than what your ticket was worth. Yeah, I think they count on that. Just even the process, you don't hire a lawyer. Just legal processes. It's going to cost you more. And they do not mind just taking your money. They don't care if you get on your flight or not. They don't check. Oh, yeah. Oh, spent $800 with us. Did he check in? Why is there not a system of calling me and asking me why I didn't check in? Nope. $800 on pocket. Just gonna walk away like the criminals that we are. Stop supporting bad business. I don't see where the desperation is for the airports. The airports are always packed. Anywhere you go, you're gonna have a bunch of people. They're not hurting for customers. I don't know why Hiroki is saying they're hurting for customers, because they're not. There's always the situation of, oh, will I actually get on this plane? Is it full? Did they overbook? Which they shouldn't do it either. That's just, they're so greedy for money. They'll take as many, they'll take as much money as they can. If they overbook 15 people, oh well, I guess you're gonna wait for the next flight. And depending on where you are in the world, that next flight could be the next day, next third day. So I mean, they don't care. You are cargo, and your cargo and your bank withdrawals. That's all they see you as. With any airline. I hope when I go back to Europe, I don't know, maybe I can get on a cruise or something. If there is intercontinental cruises, I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'd rather take a 3-week vacation back. I don't care if it costs the same or even more than flying. Hell, with the crap that I know, I'm surprised some government agency didn't shoot the plane down. Make sure I didn't get here. But anyways, I'm here. I'm ready to rock and ready to roll. And with that, Pearson, go ahead. Take it away.
Don't give them any ideas. That's all I'm going to say. Just saying. Just saying. I wouldn't have thought that Delta or whoever else would be doing this shit, but then again, I mean, in Canada, back in 2019, somewhere around there, the federal government bought off the Canadian press. And understandably, no no one's going to turn around free. No one normally won't turn away free money with some strings attached, which is to be expected. But not to say when word of this gets out, but if something ends up happening, and I mean, this is, in a sense, this is treason. I mean, let's be honest. Are heads going to roll? Well, maybe. Are there going to be boycotts? Well, possibly. I mean, I'm going to ask the question now as well. Is WestJet doing this up here in Canada? Is Air Canada participating in this? It would not surprise me. I'm not saying they are, but would it surprise me that they would be doing something along these lines? No, not really. I mean, Air Canada is based in Montreal, and Trudeau, while he's still Prime Minister, has an office in Montreal. That's where his riding is, or constituency, however you want to call it. So it wouldn't surprise me in the least if this was. Am I naive to think that it's only these two? Nope. Do I think this is only going to be happening in the US of A? Nope. Because I can guarantee you it's probably happening in Toronto, Canada. I would not be the least bit surprised in Germany or England or fucking wherever else. I mean, it really goes part and parcel with the overall agenda. I mean, fuck me running. Trudeau's opened up Canada's borders, but they want to be taking in 1 million people a year, and that's going to crash the economy pretty damn fucking quick. I'll give it about 3 years, and it's going to be a mess. And to help with the illegals and to bolster an underground economy. And now that I'm kind of thinking about it, the companies that are doing this are probably going to be, if they're not already, are probably going to be exploited for more funds. Well, we're saving you labor on this. You're going to give us this much money back. That sort of thing. And if you say anything, well, we've got our connections within law enforcement and or the judicial system, and we're going to shut you down pretty damn fast. So now, in terms of the CEOs of those two airline companies or the executives, board, whatever the case may be, no, actually, shit, hold on. American Airlines parent company, let's see. NASDAQ AAL. Okay, American Airlines Group, that's what the company I think is called, okay. Let's take a look at the shareholders, shall we? And let's not be terribly surprised. Oh, look at that. Vanguard. Oh, number 2, BlackRock. So between the two of them, they have about just over 15%. I see again here SSGA Funds Management, Geode or whatever. 2 Sigma looks kind of familiar as well too. But again, 15%. Oh, isn't that interesting? between Vanguard and BlackRock, they both have purchased 1 million shares, so in the green. So they're buying stock, and enough others are dropping theirs. Vanguard total value is about, wow. Okay, Vanguard owns about $1 billion worth of stock or shares. BlackRock owns almost $400 million. So, yeah. Wouldn't be the least bit surprised to see something similar with Disney now that I'm looking at it, but we'll save that for Sunday. My apologies here, folks. It just dawned on me, and I didn't really know that we were going to go in this direction with all of this. So with the human trafficking comes a lot of profits. With the profits will be the pushing at the direction of the message. And yeah, that's, can I say with absolute definitive proof that's what the case is? No, but that's my guess. But I could be wrong. Okay, so I got nothing more to say on this aspect of this female. Let's get to the one I've been chopping at the bit over. So, Naroki, back to you.
Busy eating here. Okay. You want to talk about Ashley St Clair, do you? Okay. All right. Let's.
It's not very often I'm going to be chomping at the bit for something Manosphere related, but I'm starting to wake up.
Well, okay. How did this all get started? I think this all got started because there was a thing called Cake Gate and Calendar Gate. Here, let me just post up a photo in the feed for you, just to give you an idea of what it is that we were talking about here. Let me just find it here because I saved. Oh, for crying out! Where the hell? Oh, hold on. Let me go find it here. Oh, there it is. So, a woman by the name of what the hell is her name? Isabella Maria De Luca. Now, Isabella Maria De Luca has that classic curvy Latino thing, which just kind of, which is something I have a weakness for. But yeah, there were two particular things that reacted. They were both Calendar Gate. One was called Calendar Gate, and the other one was Cake Gate. I'm posting up Isabella Maria De Luca from Cake Gate. Now, the calendar situation was you had conservative chicks, Ashley St Clair being one of them, in bathing suits and a 12-month calendar. I really didn't care. You know, a portion of the sales of the calendar went to help something, but basically the guy who did it was doing it to make money. I really personally didn't care about the fact that, about the calendar. Cake Gate, though, with Isabella Maria De Luca, again, right, as you can see from the photo that I put aside, Isabella Maria De Luca has a rather nice set of chesticles, boobs, bobs, breasts, whatever you want to call them. Now, what was really, and I mean, I'm not going to argue, man, she's hot AF, right? She did a cake video. Here's the thing, and you will see this right. Both you and V. Now, what is the thing featured? She's supposed to be baking a cake here, but what is the thing being featured in the center of the frame of the photo of? And this is a direct screen capture from the video that she made. Now, what is the thing that is front and center in the photo? Both of you just say it out loud for everybody to hear.
Well, what cake are you talking about? I don't see a cake.
Okay, but what is featured right at the center of the frame of that photo?
Not her beautiful face or any cake.
No, Rearson, what is right at the center of that photo? Since V doesn't want to admit it.
I am admitting it. I'm just admitting it without saying it.
Rearson, what is that? Rearson, are you there? Did he go to the bathroom?
Okay, there we go. Titties, mams, marrying glands, yabos, bazookas, knockers.
Gazongas, yeah. And it was pointed out throughout the video that, I mean, at points there was the cake that she was baking, not allegedly, she was baking a cake.
She could do that?
She was baking a cake. Yeah, you can kind of see it there at the bottom of the frame, and you can see all the space above her head, which is something that somebody who's a filmmaker or photographer will notice that right away. Like her chesticles were right front and center in the frame. There were points where you couldn't even see, where you could barely see the cake, right? A bunch of individuals called Isabella DeLuca out. I really didn't give a shit because, well, boobs, but that's just me. But among the individuals that called her out were a couple of guys from the Manosphere. And the reason why guys in the Manosphere in particular are going to be extremely critical when women, especially, like, for instance, when women try to act like they're morally superior and then go and do stuff like make a video featuring that where they're allegedly doing something, but in actual fact they're showcasing their assets at the center of the frame, which she does throughout this entire video. Among the individuals that got called out was Raul Tomasi. Now, if it had just stopped there, it would have just been fine. But no, Isabella DeLuca. And this is something that I really don't like. Isabella DeLuca chose to dox Rollo Tomasi's daughter, and then tried to gaslight everybody into thinking that she hadn't gaslit Rollo Tomasi's daughter, even though when you go to her Twitter feed, you can quite clearly see that she posted up photos of Rollo Tomasi's daughter on her feed.
Wow.
So she doxed Rollo Tomasi's daughter and called him out for being a hypocrite. Although Rollo Tomasi isn't particularly religious, he has written a book on religion and how it applies to the Manosphere, but he's not an overtly, I've listened to enough of his shows, he's not an overtly religious individual, right? He's not a thief. He's not somebody who goes to church every Sunday. Of course, you also had the usual white knights and fucking simps coming in and defending her. And of course, right, I had to bite my tongue and resist going on the keyboard and typing out the word simp 60 fucking times every time I saw one of these guys defending her.
God.
And by the way, if you are defending Ashley, I mean, if you are defending Isabella, I mean, yeah, boobs, but boobs, chesticles, that type of thing.
Watermelons, right? Windshield wipers.
Watermelons, that type of thing. I mean, I can appreciate it, but I mean, you're still being, if you're defending, I mean, it's very obvious what she's doing. I mean, the quartering point is how two things could be true at the same time, right? Yes, she is baking a cake. Yes, she is self-promoting. Yes, she is being, I mean, I don't care. Right?
Yeah.
I don't care, but I mean, yeah. I mean, the guys in the Manosphere are going to fucking call this hypocrisy out every fucking time. Right? Especially, but I mean, the way she reacted to it and the way the white knight, I'm looking at posts on Twitter saying, "Oh, well, Isabella owned the red pill," and I'm like, those people I responded to is, "Oh, she owned the red pill, huh? They're sprigging it. Well, I guess that's why I'm seeing red pill content everywhere, right? Because she killed the fucking red pill." No, she didn't, right? So Ashley St Clair got attacked for Calendar Gate, and then this chick goes and does. I mean, think she looks quite nice. And yes, I would bury my face in that chest in a cold fucking second.
Cold hard second. Let's not be.
Let's
not get a
second. I mean, I would bury my face in that, but in like a cold second.
Among other things. Anyway.
Among other things, but then again, I have a soft spot for women with that kind of a body. That's and Rearson knows this. The issue here is that she was being hypocritical. I really don't care, but I mean, guys in the Manosphere are gonna fucking call this out, right? So Ashley St Clair saw this, and then these happen like literally day to day. So Ashley St Clair decided to post up, and oh god, I sent it to you, didn't I? That video with Ashley St Clair was saying, oh well, women hate you, and you're never going to get a woman if you continue to subscribe to the Manosphere. And I'm sort of like, I had to like go, because I mean, again, Ashley St Clair is a fairly attractive chick in her own right? But again, right, what happened after Lord Southern is that I don't give away the fucking farm. I mean, I didn't give away the farm with Lauren Southern anyway, because I was already MGTOW by the time she entered the scene. But you don't fucking give away the farm because some hot fucking chick says something politically that you fucking agree with. Although too many guys will do exactly that. And yes, Isabella did dox Rollo Tomasi's daughter and then lie about it after the fact, which is pretty despicable. Ashley's first response was to say how Isabella owned Rollo Tomasi, which of course got brutally ratioed.
This video is not going to go over well with a lot of my audience, but I feel like I need to say it for record's sake. A lot of the rhetoric happening on the right, women are fed up with. On this manosphere right-wing side of things, women are relatively repulsed by this, and these are women who most of you would die to have pregnant and barefoot in your kitchen. And they want nothing to do with you. Because for whatever reason, this discourse has been relatively one-sided about women and women's body counts and women's behavior without any regard for the individuals on the other side of those interactions. And I'm the mother of a young boy, and I vehemently disagree with the rhetoric that all men are evil and, the feminist rhetoric, particularly in 2016, 2017. But there should be a discussion, an honest discussion about both sides of the sexual revolution and what's happened. And it's just not happening. For whatever reason, it is right-wing porn to demean women. And there's going to be people who hate this, but I'm telling you how it is before you get slapped in the face in 5 years and wonder why none of these women want to settle down, because so many of them are repulsed by what's happening. They are repulsed by the rhetoric happening. They are repulsed that there's so much emphasis on the behavior of women, while men can name more people on their fantasy leagues than they can name members of the school boards in which their children go to school. And so, I hope we can get there. And maybe some of this vitriolic rhetoric is the stepping stone, is a silver lining. It opens the door to some of these more honest discussions. But what's happening now, I'm going to tell you, women are not happy. And you can say whatever, you don't care. Women, repeal the 19th. Women shouldn't speak anyways.
Saying this, and I mean, I'm just going to say this for the record as a guy who's MGTOW, and I know at some point there's going to be a few women that see this, and maybe Ashley St Clair will see this at some point. Ashley, as a MGTOW, let me emphasize this to you: I am not interested in pairing up or cohabitating with a woman in any capacity. If you think for one fucking second that I care that some woman is not going to fucking like me because I'm in the Manosphere, you know what? Like, I got a fucking bridge. I got a bridge to fucking say, go fuck yourself. Seriously. Not that you have any difficulty, because I mean, like I say, I saw a video of you where you were like literally giving a simulated blowjob on screen, and that video got shared, by the way. Ashley, you're not exactly the sweet, innocent, conservative chick that people play you out to be.
She knows how to suck cock?
Yeah, she knows how to suck cock. The video wasn't of her specifically, but basically she basically had her hand up to her mouth and she was like doing this tongue thing. Yeah, make it look like, and that was featured side by side with her spurging out about the Manosphere. It's like, well, we hate you, and you're never going to get any of us if you think that if you subscribe to the Manosphere. And I mean, as a guy who's a MGTOW, I really don't give a fuck if you like me or don't like me. Like, I don't. Like, I mean, in fact, not getting together with not getting married, not cohabitating is the fucking goal with MGTOW. It's like, seriously, Ashley, like, man, like, she obviously didn't think it through. She got absolutely epically destroyed. She actually took the video down, but not before several people saved it and posted it up again. Ashley looked good in the calendar. Then she had to go in, and she did a good job catching those illegal immigrants with Delta. But I mean, at the same time, it's like, I am seeing, in fact, I have a video, and I just took a look at the length of it. That video that I was telling you about a couple of days of this one woman that I'm going to have to do a takedown on, that video was almost 2 fucking hours long.
Yeah, you were telling me.
Yeah, it's going to take me at least 2 months because of my work schedule. It's going to take me at least 2 months to do a proper takedown of that video. And it's probably going to have to be done in parts, right?
Okay. Sorry. Sorry.
I gotta eat. I gotta go. Hey, can I say one thing before I go?
Yeah, go ahead. We can finish this topic up because we only got one more topic left after this anyway. So you're up anyway. So go ahead, have your say, and then you can go.
I love it when these women are like, "Well, if you're da 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 da, then you're not gonna get what I need." Or, okay, as a pickup artist, I've tried this, okay? And it's a numbers game. You can just go to women. You can say the most disgusting things that you can think of that you want to do with the girl. Yeah, of course, most women are going to be like, oh, ugh, hey. But every so often you're going to get one that says, oh, yeah, really? Is that what's up? Well, how you plan on doing that? And what are we going to do after that? So, I mean, I don't know why these women, they think they're every woman. I don't know. Maybe they got brainwashed by that song. No. Even MGTOW have their options if they want to exercise. You just got to say it like you don't give a damn. When you literally have to have an air about you that you don't give a damn about anything.
Well, I mean, that's just the thing. I mean, I've talked to other MGTOW that have said, that they've actually seen more success with women after they went MGTOW, and they're not looking. I mean, I'm not looking around. Like, I mean, I go to the gym, for instance, right? And I got a fucking dad bod, right? Like, there are guys in the gym better looking, probably. I mean, not that I'm really worried about status or anything like that. Probably making more money than I am, better looking, better built than I am. But, I still somehow managed to attract attention. I have spoken to other guys, DDJ being among them. It's like, like at one point as a MGTOW, I had to actually make an effort. I had to actually kind of make an effort to downplay my presence when I go into places, because I mean, I was getting there were so many women orbiting around me without me even bothering to do anything about it, that I mean, it was sort of like it was actually becoming distracting. But so it's like not giving a shit actually does help. I mean, it even helps if you're MGTOW. So, but continue, V.
No, that's basically all I want to say. Yeah, that chick, if she says something like that, she can go screw herself. Anyways, I gotta go, guys. Thank you for having me on the show.
All right.
Get you next month.
Yep. So we'll see you on Sunday, hopefully. Rearson, are you back yet? Rearson, are you back yet? Oh, okay. Rearson got so worked up over Isabella DeLuca that he had to go to the bathroom, get out some Orange Man Bad Lube, and he just had to. He just had to, because Isabella DeLuca and her nice, fresh, lovely gazongas he just couldn't control himself. Okay, I see you're back.
Unfortunately, nature called. That's all I'm going to say. And it wasn't because of Ashley St Clair's likely.
It didn't have anything. It didn't have anything to do with. It didn't have to do with anything with Isabella DeLuca's lovely cans or anything like that.
Fuck no. Now, if she was Asian, that'd be a different matter for me. But no. She doesn't.
Oh, so she was Hitomi Tanaka, man. Your hand would be like shaking uncontrollably right at this moment.
Fuck you up the goat ass. Good God. All I'm gonna say about her is that if she hasn't hit the wall, no, she pretty much has hit the wall now. God, I remember, like, when I was still working at Shaw. Oh, fuck, yes. Would I say no? God damn, no, I wouldn't say no to that. Gravity and a lowering amount of collagen are going to start to add up pretty damn quickly. And before you know it, your tits hang low, they wobble to and fro. They're going to be down to her fucking belly button. So
I don't care, boobs. That's just me.
Titties. Anyway, this woman honestly really pissed me right the fuck off. She did. I think it was it was Joker that. That's where I found out about this female. Now, is this woman? She's married, right?
I don't know. I don't care. Boobs. Continue.
Oh God. I'm gonna have a hard time getting through this one just because of boobs. Anyway. Oh fuck. Well, would I say no to fucking that? No, I wouldn't. But am I going to be looking for it and going out of my way for it? No, I'm not. My apologies for coughing in the mic. Did I bring up Lauren Chen last week or the week before?
No, I think it was the week before. I don't remember Lauren Chen being brought up. Yeah, I could see you losing it for Lauren Chen.
Well, I would have, just like you would have. Well, had you not been red pilled, you probably would have. You could have lost it for Lauren Southern, which I'll admit that I kind of did as well.
Oh, Lauren Southern at her peak was. I could see why so many guys just absolutely lost it over her.
Mm-hmm.
But still, though, I mean, and this, I'm going to continuously say this about guys in the Manosphere. Like, I mean, yeah, okay, nothing but respect to just Pearly Things for doing what she did.
Mm-hmm.
But because of the ghost of Lauren Southern, right? The whole thing has to be.
It paints women. It paints women in a negative light within the Manosphere.
Yep, you have to keep the with Pearl, for instance, you have to keep the bar high.
Mm-hmm.
Because of Lauren Southern. Because if you allow, because what ended up happening with Lauren Southern is that, I mean, yeah, she got her start in the Manosphere, and as soon as she got to a certain level and she immediately started running into adversity because of actions that she did, specifically around Gavin McGinnis, which caused her to disappear for a while and lose legitimacy. You know, and then disappearing to Australia for a couple of years and then coming back. And then even though she got her start in the Manosphere and knew all these guys in the Manosphere and knew all of the issues in the Manosphere, she immediately started engaging in parental alienation with the father of her child.
Okay, yeah. So,
and it's like, and she got hooked in with Destiny and she started fucking changing her tune. And I'm like, like at that point, it's sort of like, okay, you know what? It's like, it's from that point forward, it's like, if you're some guy who's just going to fucking like fanboy out because some hot chick, like say Isabella Maria DeLuca, boobs, is saying some stuff that you like, you don't give up the farm for her. Yeah. I don't care how nice her chesticles are, which they are quite nice. As for the fact that you keep hearing me say the word boobs every few seconds. Continue on, Rearson.
Well, what I said a couple of weeks ago about Lauren Chen being she's looking at everything from a point of safety. She's got her sugar daddy. She's got her offspring. She doesn't give a flying fuck about anything that's outside of her limited scope of knowledge within the conservative sphere. Ashley's no different. I mean, is Lauren going to look at me and kind of go, yeah, I date you. Oh, really? Can we date now? No, I'm married. Well, then fuck right off. I don't have time for this kind of shit from a goddamn fucking woman. A useless woman at that. Would it have been to bat your eyelashes at me? Would I've sprouted? What do you need? A few more than a few moments to myself? Yeah, I probably would have. Am I going to do that now? No, if anything, it'd be more along the lines of fuck off, you cunt. Just go fuck off. Go try to get another kid while you're at it. And the guy that you're with, I feel sorry for the fucker when you decide that you've had enough of him and you're going to find somebody else. And with Ashley, it's honestly, it's no different. Well, you're not a man if. Oh, for fuck's sakes. Really? Okay, you want to play that game? Okay, let's play that game. You're not a woman. If you are walking around with an extra 70 pounds of fat you don't fucking need. To me, you're not a woman if you've been fucking around. You popped out at least one kid from Tyrone and Terrell or Chad or fucking whoever else. You're not a woman if.
Big boy Thundercock. Continue.
I don't know what her body count is, and I don't really give a shit. Does she have any kids? I don't know. I don't want to know. I think I'm starting to move from being red pilled to being black pilled at this point. It's like, okay, are you going to actually help these males that are borderline almost there? Or are you just going to be preaching from your fucking bedroom with whoever it is that you're with, and he's dicking the crap out of you and kind of going, yeah, you're nice guys, but fuck off. I've heard that so many goddamn fucking times it pisses me off. And I'm being polite. Like this woman, again, as I would say to Chen, to her fucking face, as I would say to Ashley St Clair to her face. You telling me about men's issues and why they're not relevant or why they don't matter or whatever the case may be, or women won't like you because of. I've been the nice guy. I have heard that so many fucking times. And what has it got me? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Are you going to help me get past that point? No. Well, then you know what? You're about as useful to me as it is for me to think that I'm going to actually go meet a fucking porn star and fuck her brains out. It ain't going to happen. So I'm not harboring any illusions realistically anymore when it comes to females. I have very little to virtually no respect for modern women. And I have to say, in that video where she was wearing that, it's not pleated, it's not played either, or plaid or whatever. But if I didn't know any better, I'd say the woman's got a nice big set of titties.
Do you mean a St Clair? A St Clair?
Yeah. St Clair.
Oh, she's got a nice rack. I've seen photos. She's not as good as boobs, Isabella, but
well, that all depends on what your definition of boobs are.
She's not as good as Isabella boobs, but she's.
I'm sorry, but with Isabella boobs, her hair's dyed. I don't know how much.
I don't care. I'm not gonna be I'm not gonna be rubbing my face in her hair. Okay. Sorry, that's just me, right?
Yeah, and I'm not gonna be rubbing my face in her fucking tits either. Ever. So I'm gonna look at the woman as she is, as she presents herself, and the woman's fake. Incredibly fake.
Oh, absolutely. But I mean, it doesn't. Like I said, right? It doesn't.
Boobs. Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
boobs,
it doesn't.
Boobs,
It doesn't. It doesn't. It doesn't matter.
Titties.
I mean, I wouldn't sleep with her, but it's like, yeah, I will freely acknowledge that she's got a very healthy chest on her. I'll continue. That French chick that used to work at that hotel, she was gone by the time you started working up there in Banff. But I mean, that woman whose name I will tell you offline, or I will type it into the chat. She had a rack very similar to Isabella here.
I don't see Isabella as being all that spectacular. I mean, realistically, not.
Oh, I do, but that's just me.
Well, beauty, okay. What we will agree on is that beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
Yeah, because Asian chicks very rarely do it for me.
I remember,
I lived in Vancouver. There were Asian chicks practically fucking growing on trees, and Asian chicks just rarely fucking did it for me.
Well, fair enough. French chicks didn't do a damn thing for me. But again, to each their own. And I have no problem with your preferences. You have no problem with my preferences. We know what each other likes, and that's fine. Oh, by the way, top 10 owners of Delta Airlines, Vanguard, and BlackRock in that succession.
No.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God. Okay, let's just wrap this up because we're getting close to 3 hours here.
We need to wrap it up with a condom. Anyway,
still got one more topic left. So
yeah. So at the end of the day, if women like Ashley St. Clair are not going to actually
St. Clair, not Sinclair, St. Clair. Continue.
My apologies. I'm drinking wine. Anyway. St. Clair. Titties. Anyway, women like St. Clair. Okay, I'm gonna say St. Clair just because it's just easier. And
okay, go ahead. Let's just get it done.
So, well, I'm gonna have to go back a little bit here as well too. My apologies, my friend. But again, women that are playing the conservative card are still women.
Oh, absolutely. Continue.
And like that, at the end of the day, is really all that men have to remember. I mean, can she give you dating advice? No, maybe. Will she give you dating advice that might actually get you where you might actually score? Probably not, because they don't want. This woman is all talk about sucking dick but she won't fucking do it. Not publicly. Not that I'm saying that she's going to be an exhibitionist and drop to her knees and whatever else. But this woman is useless. She might be useful within the overall conservative movement, but critiquing men for being men and critiquing men for that have had enough of the mind games that fucking women play, she can go fuck herself. With or without a dildo up her twat or up her ass, I don't give a shit. I really honestly don't care. I mean, I'm using a lot of the rage that I have towards one Asian female, and I'm starting to apply that to women overall at this point. Like, I don't have the fucking time to listen to their crap. I don't have the time for them to be bitching and whining and complaining. It was like, shut up. Just shut up. If you don't have a dick in your mouth, you need to have one put in there. Because I don't want to fucking hear your goddamn fucking opinion. Like if I don't start to sound black-pilled, I don't know what is.
Oh, that's MGTOW. That's MGTOW. It's not necessarily black pill. Black pill is defeatist. Continue.
So this woman needs to find her place within the conservative movement, and she needs to fucking stay there. She needs to understand what her boundaries are. And when it comes to men's issues, the state of dating or whatever else that might tickle her fucking twat, fucking stay there. Just shut the fuck up and stay there. I don't need to see you dressing down or trying to hide how big your boobs are, or you're going to be fucking... I remember this from Night Court, the comedy TV series from way back in the day. So, like, is she starting to apply her makeup with a fucking putty knife? Just asking for a friend. And I'll leave it on that note.
Okay, I am going to point out a couple of things here about female dating coaches. There are, in fact, I'm gonna post her photo up now. There are a couple of female dating coaches that are actually quite good. The one I posted up is, her name's Kezia Noble. She works out of Britain. She's had to deal with all of the same hassles that Fresh and Fit and Roll Tomasi and so forth have had. Yeah, you're right. Very easy on the eyes.
Her. Yeah.
You know, she has got some good days. She has got some good days. She has got for guys in the PUA community. She has had some very good information. MGTOWs, MGTOWs are going to be innately fucking hostile towards anybody female in the Manosphere. It does, especially when they're going through the red pill rage. Poor old Kezia here has gotten a lot of unnecessary grief thrown her way. My personal take on Kezia is not trying to get in the way of male progression. Yeah, she's a hustler. Maybe she might be a bit of a grifter, but I mean, she's not getting in the way of male progression. It's like, save your fucking anger for hypocrites, like boobs
St Clair,
Isabella, like St. Bella and boobs Isabella, and like women like Tori Rowe or
Lauren Chen,
or Lauren Chen, or Shoe on Head, or any, like, save it for the hypocrites. Like, don't go after like women like Karen Strawn or Tori Grow or Kezia Noble, right? Like, so there are some women in the Manosphere that actually do contribute to the Manosphere. That's just my take.
No, fair enough. And for me, if there's an intellectual connection or something that she says that I actually do agree with, I have no problem supporting females in the male side of issues. But St Clair, whatever, fucking boobies number 2. Are you actually going to contribute, or are you just going to fucking bitch? Because if you're just going to fucking bitch, like I said, just suck on a dick and just keep your mouth full, because I don't want to fucking hear anything out of your anything coming out of your mouth except a guy blowing his load in your mouth. Not that I'm going to watch that, but that's okay.
Well, I mean, have you ever had the chance to listen to a full episode of Fresh and Fit or the Whatever podcast? Like,
no, I haven't.
Not so much on Fresh and Fit, but the guy on Whatever. I do not know how that guy stays. Like, I mean, not every woman that goes on there is stunned fucking stupid.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, you know, in particular, the Whatever podcast is the best fucking advertisement for MGTOW that I have ever fucking encountered in my life. Fresh and Fit is up there too, but Whatever. I don't know how that guy just does not, like, I mean, if I was doing that show, I would fucking like some of these women I would just fucking lose it with. Like, some of them are just like stunned fucking stupid, right?
Well, enough of them are, but at the same time as well, from what I've observed, the females that go on there, they're either strippers, they're amateur porn, or
they're OnlyFans girls, or
Instagram, or whatever,
yeah. I mean, again, right there, we had Mercedes Carrera on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, there are women in that industry that are remarkably fucking smart and based.
Yeah, right? Exactly. Yeah.
And you do occasionally, I actually went through a little bit of a mini Whatever podcast binge when I was out working on this last run. I do not know how, like, I mean, if, again, they might not be examples of the entire of the female species, but I mean, it's becoming very, very clear that, and this is something that's been demonstrated. And again, we will be talking about conservative women taking a run at the Manosphere on the show coming up on Sunday.
Okay. All right.
You know, that these most women out there seem to be absolutely, based upon some of the I mean, I haven't even watched that 2-hour video that one chick has made yet, but I already have a pretty good idea what's going to happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when I finally, I mean, I have to literally sit down and dedicate 2 hours of my life listening to somebody fucking like who's probably didn't do the fucking research. I'm going to go on the record here. I'm going to preview it. I might be wrong, right?
Okay.
Without having seen the videos of this woman, I can't remember her name. I might be wrong, but she's going to make broad sweeping generalizations about the Manosphere without actually having. When I start asking around, I will find out that she didn't bother to ask a single guy in the Manosphere any fucking questions. It's going to all more or less revolve around a woman's opinion of the fucking Manosphere. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be about her more than it's going to be about the actual facts.
Shocker.
Potentially play the fucking race card. Gonna probably, I can virtually guarantee you Fresh and Fit, Rollo Tomasi, Andrew Tate, all the fucking usual suspects are going to be in there. Based upon some, I mean, okay, Anya Turnbull didn't do it, but her video was only half an hour long. Gonna take probably take Jordan Peterson out of context. Accuse people of being involved in the Manosphere that aren't actually involved. You know, she's gonna go to great lengths to make herself appear smart, but ultimately, when you start piercing through even a little bit of her narrative, it's just gonna fall apart, right? That's my prediction. I haven't looked at the video yet, though. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
You know, but I mean, yes, okay. And this is because, I mean, if this wasn't bothering women so much, if podcasts like Whatever and Fresh and Fit weren't bothering women so much, then they wouldn't have fucking tried to they wouldn't have demonetized it, and they wouldn't be going after Fresh and Fit right now. They wouldn't be trying to get Whatever run off fucking YouTube, right? Because these women, Yes, okay, a lot of them are Instagram models, a lot of them are OnlyFans models, a lot of them are porn stars, some of them are escorts, and you get these occasional batshit fucking crazy feminists on there that just
Can't
have
shut the fuck up.
they can't shut the fuck up, and their arguments, the moment they have to face even a little bit of fucking scrutiny, their argument falls apart. Now, of course, they have all their
Are they waiting for the door?
No, some of them actually stuck it out. But I mean, and of course they have all their little fucking male feminist fucking buddies come in and go, oh, she was so stunning and brave, and she made a point, and you look at the video, and it's like, it's sort of like, did you even fucking watch the video, you stupid shithead? Like, she didn't make a fucking point. She didn't make an intelligent point. You saying that and then like having people watch the video is only making you look stupid. And I mean, I've seen that so many times with whatever in Fresh and Fit. It's not even funny anymore, right?
Well, okay.
And whatever, right?
Okay. I'm just going to say, you made me roll my eyes just mentioning guys that are going to be doing that. It's like, oh my God, just grow up.
Well, okay.
Anyway,
yeah, I finish up what you're going to say because I have one other thing to say about it, and then we need to get on to the next topic because we're past the 3-hour mark here.
Yeah. Actually, there's not much more for me to say except at the end of the day, you can't, unless you've got like, well, even then, can you really trust a woman?
Okay.
And I'm gonna leave that question hanging. Can you really trust a woman? You don't have to answer it.
Well, that's not, again, you can't really answer that one in an absolute yes or no anyway.
Yeah, I know.
Because Rollo Tomasi has pointed this out. Are all women parasites? No, they're not. And the way their survival instincts are bred, the way hypergamy is built into a woman's DNA, and it is built in, no matter how many fucking times feminists say it's not.
You mean the brain?
No matter how many times the female brain is geared towards survival of themselves and their fucking progeny, which means that they're going to be looking out for the next best fit, and that's the reason why they constantly fucking shit test.
They're looking out for number one.
Yeah, that's the reason why they constantly fucking shit test, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it gets a little bit. I mean, I don't know how the fuck you managed to stay married all the time. I mean, I would have gone. Like I said, I would have ended up divorced.
It's going to happen pretty soon, my friend. It's going to happen very soon.
But yeah, don't want to start getting into like slamming women too much here. But I mean, ultimately, and this is when we get to 350, when we're going to be talking about this more. What's also happened is, and this is something that Terrace Pop was talking about. I was listening to that podcast show yesterday. Feminism has basically run out of fucking guys to throw at the manosphere. Like Destiny, all the male, they've
Destiny got. Destiny was basically like one of the last ones.
Destiny, they are backing a bunch of blue pill Manosphere content creators, and I'm going to go on. I did go on the record as to say that those blue pill Manosphere content creators are going to start facing a lot of fucking heat as the year progresses. Because this is just me, and I'm going to say this again next week on the next show.
Yeah.
These fucking blue pill Manosphere content producers are indirectly probably killing boys and men with their shitty fucking advice.
Yep.
And their shaming and their feminist fucking talking points. I mean, they're literally killing fucking men, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I don't have a lot of fucking patience for these people. There's one. I mean, I found out about it today. The Who Hurt You podcast.
Okay.
That's the name of it. Who Hurt You podcast. And the guy is about as blue fucking pilled as you can get. Rolo was mocking the fuck out of him today. But yeah, getting back to my original point here, if you're going to go on what happens on Fresh and Fit and what happens on whatever, and you're going to say, well, those women are not representative of the female species in general. Yes, no, they're not, because they're usually in a very specific field. Yes, they are, because they hang around with women that aren't other Instagram models, that aren't OnlyFans models. They have a sort of circle of friends that aren't necessarily in the sphere. So yeah, to a certain degree, the information that they are putting out and the complete fucking ignorance they have over male issues right now. I mean, even Lauren Shen for instance, right?
No, she was brought up. Yeah, go ahead.
Absolutely fucking clueless.
Yeah, like I said.
You know, you get the occasional one like Kara Strawn or Pearly Things, or I mean, there are Tori Grow. There's a few of them out there that actually have a full fucking grasp of the Manosphere and what's going on and what they're talking about. But I mean, and you can say as much as you want that these women, actually St Clair, regardless of whether they're conservative or liberal, they're still women. I mean, you can say there's a very severe fucking information and knowledge shortage on the female side about what the Manosphere is. Mm-hmm. And they're getting shit information. Of course, they're getting shit information from feminists for one, but they're getting shit information from other women out to boot.
Mm-hmm.
And with a lot of them, it's not gonna fucking dawn on them. Well, I mean, what's gonna happen is it's gonna reach a collective. Enough of them are gonna start finding out. Enough women are gonna start looking at what's going on, and it's gonna eventually get around. The only problem is at what point, though, right? Like, is it gonna take another 5 or 6 years, right? Because it's like, you know, because at the rate the Manosphere is growing, right? By the time women figure it out, like, you're going to have, it's going to be way too fucking late, because all these guys, even if they do figure it out, like, trying to fucking walk back all their stupid shit. I mean, yeah, there's going to be a huge drop in the population, because all these guys know, and it's going to take years to undo the fucking damage. Right, so there's going to be a population drop. Period.
No, there won't be a population drop. There's going to be an immigration spike.
I got some news for you. The Manosphere is in the third world countries as well. Right?
I'm not saying it isn't. But what Trudeau and company are going to want to do, and what Japan has done, Japan has opened up more immigration for India to come in, to bolster the sagging, flagging, low birth rates.
Well, I mean, here's the thing, right? I mean, they've got a Manosphere in India. They have a Manosphere in the Middle East. It's everywhere, right?
Yep.
It's not going to matter where they're coming from, right? They're here. If they spend most of their childhood here, they're going to fucking find out about the Manosphere. Either by word of mouth, or they're going to experience it first fucking hand, right? So it's not going to matter how many people they bring in from the third world, because eventually everybody in the third world is going to know about this stuff too. It's growing exponentially.
Yep. I'm not saying it isn't, my friend. I'm not saying it isn't, but for what, in particular for Soviet Kazakhstan, is that if Trudeau has his way, he's going to be bringing a lot more fucking Muslims. And if the females are bitching and complaining now about toxic masculinity as it is now, wait until rape gangs become more normal in Canada. Wait until Muslim men, generally speaking, don't take no for an answer.
No, they don't.
Exactly. So,
or well, they don't. They're either they don't take no for an answer. I will say this about men from the Middle East: they have got to be the most cucked, whipped motherfuckers I have ever encountered. Like the guys from the Middle East that I've argued with online that are blue pill, like they will literally argue and argue and argue and argue. They have got to be the most whipped motherfuckers I have ever come across. There doesn't seem to be a lot of middle ground with them.
We'll see. We'll see. Anyway, let's move on.
Anyhow, so yeah. Bottom line here, like, yeah, they aren't, but they are. And if you could go off what you're seeing on, and we've kind of really gone off on this.
We have, yeah.
But if you take a look on whatever or Fresh and Fit, and you say, yeah, I mean there's a severe deficit of information there that women desperately need to get caught up on, and they're not going to get caught up on it until it's probably too late. But with that, let's go into the last topic.
And
it ties into topic number 4 in a strange kind of way. James O'Keefe and O'Keefe Media Group just seem that they're just continuously exposing corporation after corporation after corporation after corporation. And O'Keefe finally had to admit, like we're getting more reports from corporations than we have people to investigate them. And I was like, well, really? And then I actually stopped. I mean, take the company that I'm currently working for, right?
Yeah.
You go to the place that I'm working at right now, and they have all of these, there's no place for racism, and they've got all these fucking photos of them fucking doing these happy posts with fucking Native Americans, and no room for bullying and all of that stuff. And here's the ironic part: workplace bullying was sort of like a hobby of mine up until I got involved in the Manosphere. Like, I was quite familiar with workplace bullying, right?
Yeah.
They've weaponized it, right?
Shocker.
So it's like, so they've changed it from being you're a bully, you're being a toxic bully in the workplace too. It's like if you disagree with our hiring decisions, then you're racist, bigot, misogynist, whatever, right? The whole situation is that, I mean, based upon what James O'Keefe was saying about what's going on at OMG, it's very clear that there is going to have to be a restructuring of the business like human resource training departments at universities and colleges.
Okay, yeah.
Because it's like, it's not just happening at a handful of corporations now, it's fucking everywhere.
All right.
Like, I mean, I told you about that. I told you about those courses that I had to take when I first got on with this company.
Yeah. And
some of the stuff that they were talking about there. And it was just like, some of it was just outright fucking cringe. Right? And this is a company that, I mean, they work out in the hinterland. So, I mean, who really cares about this sort of stuff? But I mean, the HR department at this company, I mean, their stuff was not at all dissimilar to what Disney had at some points. Not as bad, but it was not dissimilar to some of the stuff that I'd heard about Disney. And
Auschwitz?
Yeah, the Auschwitz. Yeah, it was almost as bad as what they had at the Auschwitz.
We've obsessed your young boys, and you would like it.
Oh yes, we take a trip. Your 12-year-old to Epstein Island.
Wow. Well,
my God, we are gonna have fun on 351 covering that topic. We may even have to do it, and we may have to do a whole episode on that.
Okay.
Anyway, so yeah, this is not just one corporation. This is not just a handful of This is like everywhere now. And if it is everywhere, that means it is a system-wide rot. You know, like how long is it going to be when people start continuously discriminating against hiring whites or not allowing whites into management programs because of fucking equity and inclusion before, you know, whites make up 65, 70% of the North American population. Like, you're going to continue to and I mean, look at what's happened with Hollywood, right?
Yeah.
Hollywood's never going to fucking recover, right?
No, they're not. Well, not easily, but yeah,
no,
overall.
It's gonna take years for Hollywood to recover if they ever do. Hollywood star has definitely dropped off a little bit, but I mean, it's not just fucking Hollywood. It's not just the music industry. It's not just the entertainment industry. It's not Best Buy. It's not DuckDuckGo. It's not Red Hat. It's everybody. And I'm like, well, maybe not everybody, but almost everybody.
No, it's predominant. It's predominant.
It's predominant, especially at universities. And, you know, once we are very close to actually hitting that critical mass, which is why the Biden administration is so fucking desperate to start a war somewhere to distract from what's going on here.
Oh, that reminds me of our conversation we had a long enough time ago down in Cascade Mall.
Oh yeah.
You were talking about China invading Russia to distract the population.
Well, China is going to invade Taiwan at some point because China is actually in much bigger trouble than people would care to admit, and they are desperate for they're almost as desperate as the United States for an extra, because again they're feeling the pinch too. Mm-hmm. They've got a version of the Manosphere. They're called lying flat, man. Japan has a Kikimori, which, by the way, is the progenitor to MGTOW.
Really?
Yeah, Kikimori, one of the guys who was actually one of the guys who came up with the concept of MGTOW. Mm-hmm. Was a Japanese transplant, apparently. That meeting they had at Asheville, North Carolina.
Okay. Yeah.
That there was an Asian guy there. He was from Japan, and he was familiar with their in terms of the number of if there were the same number of men in North America that were apparently Hikikimori in Japan, like the number of guys who'd be MGTOW right now would be up in the tens of millions. Like it's
wow.
It's my understanding that Hikikimori has reached the point where it's actually starting to affect the economy in Japan. Like it's okay. It's not just a fringe thing going on there. Like there's a lot of guys in Japan that are just like fucking packing it in and doing the bare minimum because they just can't be fucking bothered. And over in Japan, it's probably because of corporate pressures and lack of individuality and that sort of thing. And some guys just don't want to play that game. But I mean, it doesn't really matter what culture you're in.
I've heard that enough of the time when you get married in Japan, you take on the guy has to work himself to death for paying off his student loan. He has to pay off her student loan. She wants kids, so there's the family pressure, and he has to work towards the wedding, and afterwards has to go with the gifts, and then after that will be the house.
Yeah. So yeah, we're
way off topic.
Yeah, we're way off topic here. We're getting into Japan, and what we're getting into here is the fact that, I mean, in North America, like the human resource culture, and by the way, that hotel that you and I both used to work at, not the one in Banff, the one out in Lake Louise.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The woman that wanted to rehire me there back in the springtime, she had pronouns in her bio.
Oh, fuck. Well, I actually asked this of my manager, and she would be a great addition in terms of the female perspective for men, positively speaking for men. And I wanted to actually change my pronouns to they/lied. And she said, nope, I'm not going to give you the option to shoot yourself in the foot. I'm like, oh, damn it. Okay, fine. I respect that. And I did. So I don't put pronouns in my emails. I don't put pronouns in my profiles or whatever else, because just like with St Clair, whatever you want to fucking call her, Miss Justicles, I don't have time for the fucking games that people like that play. And as I'm getting older, I don't have time to be politically correct anymore because I don't fucking give a shit. I really don't. And that's what this is becoming. It's how do you know that you're in a mental prison if you can't see, if you don't see the walls that are keeping you caged? You don't know that you're in a mental prison. I think that's basically the best way to sum that up. And that's what the pronouns are, in my opinion. So anyway, we have to talk afterwards anyway. So getting back to topic, my apologies for interrupting you.
Well, I'm done. You can take this topic out.
Well, I mean, the simple fact that O'Keefe is being inundated with people that have stories to tell within just should be more than an unfortunate indication as to how bad everything really is. I'm gonna go back a little bit here to Delta Airlines. Vanguard and BlackRock numbers 1 and 2. That's almost 16%. Like, they're not taking up that much, but they're taking up enough. And I'm seeing an overall trend of corporate overheads soaking up basically no more than about up to and including, say, 11% of a corporation. The people that are trying to expose this for the rest of us to see the rot well below the surface, and I'm not talking, like 1 or 2 meters below the surface. I'm probably talking like 50 meters plus, or shall we say like 150 feet below. If the rot doesn't go that much more deeper, that there are enough people out there that have a conscience and finally have an outlet to try to bring about not necessarily their side of the story or their version of the truth or whatever the case may fucking be. I mean, like you had mentioned before, with Best Buy, by and large, with what we saw in Calgary with Best Buy, is that it's tribalism. Not going to say it's racism. I refuse to use that fucking word. I will call it tribalism. You got the Sikhs hiring the Sikhs, you got the Muslims hiring the Muslims, and you got the whites that just kind of go, well, who's the most qualified? Am I overanalyzing or overgeneralizing? Yeah, I probably am. But I don't think I'm that far from the truth. Do things need to change? Yeah, things need to change, but for things to change, little pockets or grains of truth have to start coming through the filters. And I mean, who honestly is on record for going to bat for what's really going on in society? Can we say that it's applied to Breitbart? No. Can we say that OAN has done their thing? No. Can we say that Rebel News has done it? Not really. And, how many other outlets in the alt media are about exposing the rot that's happening in society? There's really nothing outside of what was Project Veritas, which is now OMG, O'Keefe Media Group. I mean, I would like to say that Dave Rubin might be able to do something, and he could if he was to go off on that tangent. Could Tim Pool? Yeah, maybe. Would I trust anything out of Ben Shapiro? Fuck no. Like, there really are no established outlets that are all about having a real sense of integrity. And if anything, with what I see with O'Keefe Media Group, he's got the balls to do it. He's aware that his life is in danger almost every time he steps out. Does he probably wear some sort of thing, like a bulletproof vest? Yeah, he probably does. I would. But he does it anyway. He has a fighting spirit that I admire. So until someone else steps up to the plate to take the heat off of, not the heat, but, to take the workload off of OMG, it's great that he's the one that, he's the tip of the spear, but it's also unfortunate because he can't do it alone. I guess that's about the only way that I can say it. Maybe you and I could start something up in the near enough future. Who fucking knows? I don't know. But there's someone from my past. Excuse me, just a quick second here. Going back to elementary and high school. And I don't know how far up the chain of command he's gone within TD, Toronto Dominion Bank. But he strikes me as the type that is going to be very, very, very difficult to get a hold of. Now, would he know me to walk by me in the street? Maybe. Would I recognize him? Yeah, I might. But within the banking sector, does he know a lot of shit? That would probably make me just roll my eyes, if not want to beat him to within an inch of his life. Yeah, he probably does. So I guess it kind of works out to my attitude towards women at this point. The higher up you go, the more I don't really think that I can trust anybody. So it's not the way that I want to end this, but that's kind of where my brain is right now. So I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, well, I'm getting kind of tired too because I usually am in bed by now. So
fair enough.
Like the last couple of weeks, I've been in bed by now, so it's getting to be a long one, and we're at almost 3.5 hours on this one, which probably isn't all that surprising.
Yep.
Stay tuned for 351. I have a feeling that one's going to go a bit long as well, although there's only 6 topics. But I mean, the Epstein client list is.
Oh my God! It was going to happen at some point.
Yeah. That's all I got to say tonight. For those of you who don't know, Patreon as Naroki5, subscribe stars to Red Pill Nation.
TLB Talk.
TLB Talks. Rumble, Odyssey, BitChute, MGTOW TV, Bradion, Facebook, MeWe, Minds, Gab, TLB Talks, and Getter at this point are my main are my places. I do have some others that I do have a locals that has no subscribers on it and that sort of thing. I'm going to keep doing this until I die or find something better to do, but that is it for tonight. Thank you for listening for the full almost 3.5